Live from Pahrump, Nevada, the Valley of the Dirt People, it's Tech Talk, Taco Tuesday, with your hosts, Jimmy Lewis and Logan.
I'm not finished yet.
Wait, too bad. We're starting.
Live? Okay.
Yeah, you're live now.
Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, live from Pahrump, Valley of the Dirt People. Logan, welcome.
Yep.
This is my co-host, Logan Tyler. And we let George come back on tonight.
I bring my followers. That's the only
Right.
reason.
He has 8 followers. 12 now? He has 8 followers, and he says all of them are going to be on here. So I do have the list of all your followers right here on my sheet, okay. And we're going to do roll call later on in the show. So just make sure that they're there. Hey, everybody. Welcome to our favorite show. This is the only show that I like. This is Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. It's where we talk about your motorcycle and motorcycle-related problems. And we can solve them generally 9 out of 10 times without referring to a reference manual. Right?
Yep.
You got to give me some backup in this, Logan.
Little hype man-ish.
Yeah, good.
Little hype man? Is that your new nickname?
No, Little Hype Man on Instagram, right? Is that that's where we're going to find us? So we do our best at helping you solve your issues, whether you've got a dirt bike or an adventure bike or a dual sport bike or anything that has knobbies on it. That's what we talk about. We have a lot of segments on this show. I'd like to thank producer Matt for doing whatever he does.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah, so what he does is he feels like he has job security here because I don't know how to turn this thing on anymore. Before, I used to just go sit in a Mexican restaurant and like flip a switch, and it was like magic, and we had a show. And now we sit inside of a studio. We have like real microphones, and there's videos. And if you haven't been paying attention the last couple of weeks, if you've missed us, what can you do now, Logan? What's the new thing that you can do on Tech Talk Taco Tuesday?
The newest, or just something new?
Well, the new thing we're trying to encourage.
You can send in your
motorcycles.
Oh boy!
oh man!
Yeah, send them here.
Yeah, Logan, remember show prep? we really, there's a lot of show prep that goes on here. We do that, and
yeah.
so last week on the show, and you were here. You were sitting over there.
Oh yeah, I was.
Oh good, there we go. They don't have no. Don't worry about like what's going on in Pahrump later. I know you were trying to pay attention to what Matt was doing because I always need a replacement for him. Mm-hmm. So you're paying attention to that. You learned you did tell me in confidence that you could turn the show on if I needed it to happen.
Yeah, it's only like 2 buttons.
Okay,
That's
good.
what I keep telling you, Jimmy. It's just 2 buttons.
It really is. And then you watch
Not
a
in
green
Jimmy
little
world.
box.
Yeah, but how many passwords do I need to know?
There's no passwords. Yeah. Oh, it's all set up.
Okay. So
it's solid.
But we really pushed something on last week's show. And we got some really high level submissions.
tonight?
Oh yeah, we got high level.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So what you can do is, can I take this over now since you're stumped?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's called Stump Logan.
Hey,
It's a new
George,
segment.
So with that mic, can I have you I need you to talk really close to that mic.
Yeah, get close to it.
I'm a little uncomfortable that close.
It's okay. It's okay. Just don't look us in the eye.
So what you can do is
Treat it like
videotape your question or your bike submission with yourself. Create a videotape, send it into Matt at dirtbiketest.com. Is that where you want to get it?
Oh, we need to get you that email, don't we?
No wonder you haven't gone yet. I've told
What's that?
all my viewers.
Matt at JimmyLewisOffroad.com.
Oh, Matt at JimmyLewisOffroad.com.
I'm trying to keep him a little closer to the family so that I can cut him a little bit quicker.
And
If
keep
it
it
happens.
short, keep it humorous, and the only requirement is we hope you watch the episode so you can interact if we have follow-up questions on your question or want to ask more about your bike.
Yeah, no, that's important. You can submit it and we'll do our best, but I guarantee you we're always going to have like kind of follow-ups, and then if you can just interact a little bit, just that little bit of extra information will get you the right answer. And I'll roll it back to like last week when the guy's YZ144 grenaded after 20 minutes. He bought a bike, and after 20 minutes or 50 minutes, I don't remember. It was a certain amount of minutes.
20 minutes.
20 minutes, it went bad. And And I just gave him all the credit in the world that he mixed the gas properly, that his air filter was clean, that it hadn't sucked dirt. All the, we just took all the things out, and then I went to, okay, this is what I think happened. And do we ever get any follow up on that?
Not really.
That was a good that was so good. You almost get 2 pull-ups off of that.
I've been working on my elite athlete legs, so
right.
I'll need to work on my arms too.
We'll talk about that later, racist.
So anyway, send in your video clip. It'll actually be aired, correct, on the show.
Right.
So you can see if you're going, and we won't torture poor Logan with trying. See if you speak as well as you write, I guess.
Well, I think Logan is the best question reader.
He is.
Out of anybody.
Job security.
That's right, job security at this moment.
Yeah, we'll still take written submissions.
So on tonight's show, we have a lot of special guests. We have a lineup. I mean, literally a lineup of special guests. I put that away. That's like showing me porn, dude. Just keep that one turned down.
Oh yeah, that one's.
Yeah, I know. Don't do it.
Oh, was that the?
Jay, zip it.
Okay. I know which one you're talking about now.
I know. I rode one today. Yeah, there's gonna be a.
I can't wait for the story on how that ended.
Oh, we'll hear all about that.
Oh, I won't be
a lake crossing.
Yeah, wait till I get there. So, back to the format of the show. Did we just waste like 5
People
minutes?
don't care about the format of the show. Just get into it.
Answer a question?
Yeah. Isn't that what we do? Answer questions and talk about the show.
Okay. You can submit.
Pass that down here, too. I'm just getting warmed up, buddy.
Oh, here we go. So
but before that, first.
So you
what
can.
happened today, Jim?
So you can submit your questions on usually on our Facebook page. We ask for those. You can comment on last week's show, or in this sense, if you're watching this now on YouTube, this show, you can watch it live, 7 p.m. every Tuesday, or almost every Tuesday. We do this right here, right now. And if you're here, if you're in the chat, you can ask questions. And at the end of the show, we grab most of the questions in the chat that we can remember, or that my half-assed producer can highlight, because usually by that time it's a, what do we call it? It's a S show, right?
Well, you could also produce something, send it in that just trashes Jimmy or something like that.
Oh,
or
go ahead.
We'll call it Just Ask Jimmy.
That's what the whole
video segments.
That's what the whole show is. We'll call it.
Wait, let's get back to current events. What happened today? What did we do today?
Oh, I got my truck started.
Okay, but it failed last time, right? You went there, you put a new
Correct.
motor in it.
So
and something wasn't right.
Okay, so and I'll be brutally honest with you. I don't know a whole lot about. I mean, it's an engine, it's a truck. I don't know the specifics of putting a truck engine into my truck, and so I got a crate motor, did all the things, assemble it, put it in the truck, hooked it all up, and along the way I had these little mishaps, and like one of them was the wiring harness is really tricky to get routed right and plugged in right and stuff, and like one of the clips on the plugs didn't engage properly, and so it wouldn't fire, and I was like chasing that for a little while. So, and then next thing, I get it all in there, and I prime the oil pump and do all the stuff, and it gets oil pressure, and it starts and runs, and then the oil pressure drops off. I'm like, what the? And I was very careful about putting it together. I mean, I know this from motorcycle engines. I have a procedure, and I'm very careful about all the stuff. And I did all the things, and it didn't work. And I'm like, oh, it has to be something goofy. And so I started disassembling, pulled the pan off, checked the pickup, checked to reprimed. Actually, I primed it.
Your checklist of logic that you check on combustion engine.
And in all honesty, I'm sitting there going like, what was the last thing I touched? Like, what did I screw up? And it's like and the problem is I touched everything. Right. So there's a lot of things to screw up. So I just went backwards. The other thing, and I was calling the technical service of this company and asking them, and they literally said, well, you just overfill the motor by a certain amount, and then it should like prime the pump. And I'm like, well, it's already primed. And I primed it. I did all the things.
But anyway, today
it started and it ran.
It got put back together. Nothing significant changed that we know of. Put it in there, and it started, and it ran, and everything ran fine. So what was the one thing that changed about when you put it in the last time? And it has
oil pressure.
Right, but what was the one thing in the process that changed?
Oh, that you were standing over there watching me?
I helped, right?
Oh, you helped.
That was my only point.
Okay.
We can talk motorcycles now.
I would like to also. I would like to also. No, do you want? Would you like a ribbon? Do you want to wear a gold medal?
No, I'm going to bring my gold medal in, which will just.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, because mine's about that big.
You can take one of those gold medals down and wear it around your neck for the rest of the show. I'll give you permission. So it's the same kind of process of logic that I use when I'm, explaining the answers here. So.
And you said something important. What was the last thing you touched, which is always your go-to?
That's
when
generally
fails, what was the last thing? If the engine quits, I used to run into this on our Harleys all the time. Something would happen, something would fail on the road, and I'd go, "What was the last thing?" All I did is put turn signals on it. Okay,
and let's start
there. And there's some turn signal.
So then you're having an electrical
problem,
problem, right? Every time you turn the turn signal on, the bike stops because you plugged it into the kill button. Yeah, it's we've all done this. Is the only reason I know. But yeah, so that was I don't know how well I feel about this because Bob, who has left because he was in charge of it's Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, and we've kind of switched over to having pizza, and he started resuggesting tacos again, and then he got Matt confused, and all of a sudden we're all hungry is what the root of the problem is. But Bob was waddling around today while this was going on, and he said, well, if you fixed it without replacing anything, or it's just like it's a mystery why it went back together, if it was a helicopter, I wouldn't fly in it, and he waddled away.
Yeah, that was their saying.
Yeah.
If a helicopter fixed itself, don't get in it and fly.
Yeah,
Which
so
makes sense, but it's fine.
Here's where we are with the truck. But then
I saw what happened. I just didn't want to tell you because I thought it hurt your ego.
What was it?
You're not ready.
I'm
You're not at a point in life to deal with it.
Hey, I rode a Husaberg 570 today. I'm at a point in life where I can deal with anything. Yeah.
What are the questions?
The questions.
Logan.
Do we have any sponsors?
Hey, welcome to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. This show is brought to you by Yamaha.
Yep.
Blue Crew.
Yes.
I'm going to ride the brand new 2022 YZ125 tomorrow. Actually, Matt, if you're good, if you can drive the whole way there while I sleep, I might let you ride a little bit.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah, that was.
Well, see, I thought I was going to be the only one riding it. Well, Trevor would also be riding it because your arms need to recover from the arm ripping power of your 570. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. I'd like to ring a bell right now. Yeah.
well, and also notice I'm trying to butter you up, so you just let me ride it more too.
Right. So we're gonna go ride a Yamaha YZ125 tomorrow. Scott Sports. I used Scott's light sensitive goggles, and we took off and rode away from the sun into the dark. How was that, Ricky?
It was great.
My goggles were awesome. Just tell you that. I could see almost everything, except for the rocks that I hit, and we can talk about that later. Actually, the big rock that I hit was earlier. Climb. I was wearing awesome climb gear today. I felt like all day long I was in the perfect temperature. Yeah, because I have the right gear. I had venting and all this stuff because it was hot when I started and it got a little bit chilly. It was nice and cold when we went in that canyon.
On the lake bed, it was cold.
Lake bed got cold. Yeah, not in my gear. I just zipped up.
You were also behind the rally bike, so it was a little bit.
Oh, now he's No, we'll talk about that later. DDC sprockets. Delaney drive components. Oh, good God. There's an alert.
2004 Pontiac Grand Prix.
Is an Amber Alert? Yeah. There's an Amber Alert here in Pahrump, which means
Idaho to Arizona. Not even in.
No, they're probably going to pass.
This is right on the way.
They're probably it's on the way. They're going to pass through Pahrump because that's where
according to how Ricky reads a road book, it is.
If you're going to abduct a child, might want to stop in Pahrump. Just lying. DDC sprockets. I just actually talked to Nate right before the show. I'm getting a new 47 tooth for my 1190, so I have a spare for my extra spare wheel because I used to have a stock one and I had to adjust the chain. I didn't like this. Trail Tech, makers of fine kickstands
and computers.
I have a newer. They make computers and fans, and I have a newer to me old 2001 KTM RFS bike that leans way too far over on the side because the stock kickstands were junk. Trail Tech has the solution. So if you wonder why you have to put your old KTM on a stand, don't wonder anymore. Get a Trail Tech kickstand. It'll fix the problem.
Put one on my 300 this summer.
And it's still there.
The stock one broke off. I left it sitting out in the rain in the mud. And the kickstand just speared into the ground. It sat there so long. And when it did, I picked it up and it was busted off. So I ordered a Trail Tech.
Right on. Taco Moto. Anything you want for your KTM Husky, probably gas. He's starting to do Hondas now. Starting to work on Hondas with some of the ECUs and stuff. Takamoto tunes you up. Check out his white sheets. This is how I learned about Takamoto. His white sheets have the answers to the questions, and they're sensible. You know, of course, they want to sell you some stuff, but they don't want to sell you the wrong thing. So take a look at Takamoto. His group on the Facebooks, that's the EXCFE Performance Group.
We are streaming to right now.
Yeah, we're streaming to you guys. You guys have a lot of good questions, and we try to provide good answers, and Mike's usually there to do it. And then if your answer usually, well, it's usually you need to modify your bike. We had a discussion with this about, remember we had a discussion about like modifying bikes?
Yeah.
Like especially adventure bikes. Yeah.
Yesterday's, right? Oh, yeah.
That discussion.
The number one thing you always need to do, right?
Right. Is you have to, well, the suspension.
Number one thing, right.
But just in general, especially if you're buying an emissions compliant bike, it's like everybody wants to, turn it into a race bike. So Takamoto can help you out. And of course, we wouldn't be here without Seat Concepts. Seat Concepts makes, Logan's looking around for the seat. You want to know why it's not here?
Because you wanted it for
It's
comfort?
it's back on my bike, bro.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't sit much, but when I do, my Seat Concept seat with the, I always want to call it Naugahyde, but it's called Suede. I love that seat. I really do. So that's our sponsors. Logan, talk
And
about
this one?
Yamaha two-strokes.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
George
right.
is a sponsor.
George is. He is.
It's not. I don't see it on the list.
I totally forgot to add it because I just copy and paste from last week's. And
Where's the money?
he gave you the money.
I know.
He paid
Took him out.
up front with cash.
Dined him today, wined him. Went to the VFW.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never been in there.
He gave
Not
me.
the one in town.
You got to know someone.
Introduced him to some women around town.
You're trying to get him back. You're trying to get him back here in Pahrump. Some local talent.
Well, it's going to be better for him.
Oh boy, read that, Logan. Come on.
The Yamaha YZ two-stroke motorcycle. Experience pure performance and exhilarating power with a full lineup of Yamaha two-stroke bikes. Visit YamahaMotorsports.com today to explore what's new for 2022. The re-revised YZ125 makes for the perfect step-up machine, featuring all-new engine, revised 6-speed transmission, new brakes and suspension settings, improved rider ergonomics with new aggressive styling, and more. The YZ250 also delivers improved rider ergonomics, new front and rear brakes, updated suspension settings, and aggressive styling. For a truly race-inspired look, check out YZ250 and YZ125 Monster Energy Yamaha Racing Editions. And for the next generation of riders, the YZ65, YZ85, and YZ85LW deliver big bike specs in a smaller package. Visit YamahaMotorsports.com, find your Yamaha YZ, and enter Victory Zone.
So was that really strange that I didn't interrupt you during that whole read?
Yes.
You were waiting for it.
I was.
It's like getting sucker punched.
I was really trying to mark spots.
That you're ready to just get.
Yep.
Yep. Because I was ready, but I was just gonna let you flow through that one because you never know what's gonna happen here. And on that note, Matt.
Yes.
Let's do the chat room questions that are up there. Can we bang through these because these people are here right now?
Yeah.
Let's hit them because I see Todd Kelly has a big long question and a few others.
Logan, you want to pull up?
Yeah.
I've been. Todd Kelly's actually the first one to put one in there. The rest of them just been comments,
Jargon, yeah,
just jargon. Unless Logan, do you want to test your Spanish? Because
No.
Victor has questions.
I saw that, but
Okay.
Let's just hit Todd Kelly's question.
Come on, answer Victor's.
Well, I'll try. Let's scroll down so I can read it,
See
Matt.
if you can sort through it.
Let's see. First he asks a question. He says something like that. Te vas a poner borracho otra vez. It says you're drunk and you have a boner. That's what I see. That's really strange.
That is strange, but it's Victor.
Yeah. Somebody said they thought this was a dirt bike show. It is a dirt bike show. What would you like to know about dirt bikes?
We're getting to that.
We can answer. We're getting there. We have to get you warmed up.
I can't see the questions.
I'll work on it. So Todd Kelly asks, what's a price on a 16 KTM 500 with 241 hours that you wouldn't pass up? It has some great components, but needs the fork service and a few other things. My cart is filled with about $2,600 worth of stuff I'd put on the bike, but I don't want to be into it that much. Give me your thoughts, Jimmy. Talk about modifying bikes. Ha, ha, ha. So, Todd, you should just look the other way. And if that guy's willing to sell that thing to me for like about $3,500, I've got cash and I'll take it. But in reality, a 16,500 with 241 hours, I'm going to just say that's a...
Is this COVID pricing where it's high?
We're
two prices.
That's a new enough bike to where there's not two prices. That's a on the low end, a very low end, that's a $6,000 bike. And on the high end, it could get up to $8,000 depending on the condition. Now, 241 hours is, in my world, that's halfway worn out. Does that make sense? Like 500 hours is where you should probably start thinking about doing something. And I wouldn't do anything. How many hours does your bike have on it? You don't know. Does your odometer still work?
It was. Yeah, it still works. I don't know.
But it's got to be 350
plus something. Yeah.
We just adjusted the first valve.
First time the valve cover's been off that bike.
Okay. So George is a perfect example. He's a regular, just putts around, dual sport kind of, riding. And we took his KTM 500 the other day, and why was the gas?
It was just leaking.
Oh,
it's been leaking from the.
And the cover's never been off.
No, never.
Okay, so he had a little bit of oil dust. He basically had dust collecting on the little bit of oil that leaked around the valve cover, and he got paranoid about it, and so he decided he was going to. You weren't paranoid?
No, it was just people were pointing out there's oil and crap all down the side of your bike. So.
How much did you have to add?
I've been doing that for years. Nothing. I never added one.
Right. Okay. So he ended up ordering some parts. I said, well, as long as you're pulling that thing off, let's measure the valves. We measured the valves, and one exhaust valve was 3 thousandths out of ideal. So it wasn't 3 thousandths loose. I think it was 1 thousandth loose, but 3 out of ideal. And I said, this is so easy. Just pull the pin, drop a shim in it, the rocker. You don't even have to loosen up the cam chain. Just ding, ding, ding. What'd it take us? 15 minutes?
Yeah, I think most of the time was looking for tools because they were scattered all over your shop. But yeah, no,
they were underneath my truck.
It was a nothing burger, and that valve cover comes off really easy on that bike.
So this is a 350 hour bike. How much do you want to sell that to me for tomorrow?
Well, it's different. I was going to say I hope Jim's not watching because I do believe I know what you gave for his 2020.
85 or something like that?
No.
It was.
I think so.
No, it was. I think. It was a 2020. Yeah. And I think it was $8,000, 85.
Sure.
I'm positive. I don't know. I go look in the checkbook.
Yeah, I don't know.
And that was a fair price at the time because I needed. Well, I really felt bad because remember that day I did that big eat shit last year around December, and I flopped on Jim's bike.
On a brand new bike.
Brand new bike. Well, I ended up having to buy that bike. Well, I mean, it was offered to me, but I paid it. Well, the problem was, what did he need? He went to the KTM dealer because he needed a tire or
air filter.
He needed an air filter.
He went in for an air filter.
Jim went in for an air filter and came back with a brand new 2021 500, and so he had all of a sudden a 2020 at a yard sale price. So I bought it.
Well, he's doing the same thing with a truck right now. It needs a battery, maybe tires. He goes to the dealer, and I think they didn't have the right color or something.
Yeah.
But,
so okay, back to Todd's question. Yeah, but right. So, if you're going to put $2,600 into it, that's that's the thing is when you buy these used bikes and whatever condition they are in. Hey Matt, how is it buying a basket case bike? You should have just you should have just saved the extra $1,000 and used that to buy a bike that was in a better condition.
If it's a bike or a car, though, you don't get the money out of it that you put into it and those accessories. It makes it easier to sell. It's nice for the guy buying it, but you don't get your money out of it in all those modifications usually.
Hey, and I made a deal today to sell the 400. That 400 is sold as is for $500 less than I wanted for it. But he decided he pointed out the problems with it, and there's everything he said. It leaks a little bit of oil here and there, which is like yours. It weeps oil. It's not leaking. He feels like there's gonna be a carb issue that he wants to address, but he also wanted to learn to work on carbs. And then and I didn't realize this until I looked at it in the thing, that the whole rear fender assembly with the license plate on it was flopping around. And I'm like, that's broken.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, that just needs a couple of screws through it. I should have fixed that.
No. It's gonna fall off and end up on the ground. It's broken.
Because we bungeed that up.
We had to bungee it, and I think it's just something that we forgot to mention.
So it's broken.
Put my Weep up on there if you get a chance. I've sent it to your phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway,
So, you're the one texting me.
Anyhow, so it was like I went down $500 on a price, but my price wasn't really overinflated. It was just kind of where it was. But he made some points, and at this point, it's like I could have fixed everything, and it would be $1,000 more. So instead of whatever the price was, it should be $500 more, and went $500 down. I'm like looking at the time, time it would take, and like I told him,
he's a good customer.
Yeah, he comes to the schools and stuff like that. But if I fixed everything, it would cost me $500 to fix it, and then, net the problems are gonna, like the leaky seals, the little things are, but I'll put new plastic on it, and one tip over, the plastic looks just like the plastic is on it now. So it depends on what your $2,600 in. I think so. That bike, the 16 is. I was paying pre-COVID. I was paying. Oh, if Bob were here, is Bob here? What's he doing over there?
I think he's grabbing us pizza.
He's still getting pizza.
Oh, I can pull up George's photo, by the way.
Well, that's when we talk about this little weep that Jimmy described.
Yeah, talk about the.
He said so. Jimmy calls this a little weep.
So you're seeing. Yeah, but how long has it been since that thing's been washed? That's
hard to wash into there because the tank. I always wash it up as far as.
But we're looking at a KTM 500 motor, and you're seeing a lot of dust covering up oil that kind of is seeping out of, and it's really coming out of one of the valve cover bolts. When you pulled that off, was it loose or was it?
No,
it was the right torque.
2 or 3 years ago when I noticed it, I checked all those.
Okay, so this has been going on for 2 or 3 years, and now it's still the same. But you've never had to add oil because of this quote leak.
No, and I've gone 1,500 miles on a tour between oil changes.
Yeah, it's amazing how bad
and one valve was 2,000 out.
Yeah, 3,000. That had nothing to do with this, by the way.
But I'm just saying, everybody's worried about 10-hour oil changes and all that nonsense.
Yeah. So, I think I was paying like around $5,000 for 16s pre-COVID. 16s, 14s, but with a lot of hours on them, and so. Yeah, I don't know what a really good price is, but if you're getting it for about $6,000, I think that's good. I've seen a couple.
Is he selling it though?
No, I think he's buying one. He wants to buy it for like $6,000, and then he looks like he has $2,600 into it. And at that point, you might be able to buy a 2019, 2020 for the same price. And then, I promise you that at least half of Todd, answer me this if I'm right on this thing. Half of that $2,600 that you want to do, you would have to do to a brand new bike, even if you bought it brand new. In your world, I'm guessing, just guessing. I don't know how I do that. How do I do that, Logan?
I'd buy that bike if you're going to ride it and enjoy it.
Right. How do I guess this stuff?
How old were you when you started your intern job at that magazine?
A year older than you are right now.
So
do the math.
Then to now.
Yeah, so there's like 35 years of experience, learning.
Well, if you need help with mental math, there's a program for that now.
Mental math.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
You
quit.
got more than 35 years in the game of this, so.
No, but this is when I started thinking about like moto journalism, whatever it is. So, okay, do we have any other good questions right up in the chat? Hopefully we answer that. Flynn 825.
That's the second part of the question. So the first one.
Oh,
So Flynn 825, have you guys tested the IMS 2.8 gallon tanks on the newer WR models?
I believe we did, but I
Be a
I
good
want to
Trevor
say
question.
I want to say newer WR models by meaning the backwards engine Yamahas, and because the frames have changed and stuff like that. The IMS tanks are about the only option for that particular bike to get some additional capacity. And yes, we have tested them, and I think there's something on dirtbiketest.com. That's this website that sort of brings this show to you. And by the way, when you're on dirtbiketest.com and you're like going to buy the IMS tank, click through the link that we have up there for Rocky Mountain MC ATV, and you will be supporting this show. That's how your answers come to you, because we get a little slice of that. It helps us out. It makes us able to answer these questions. And also, how does the WR450 compare to the 500 EXC? It's a really touchy subject, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, because we have sponsors and we can't. No, I've said on multiple occasions that the KTM 500 EXC, if I don't know anything about you, that just go buy one of those. Just if you say I want a dirt bike, and you might be talking about doing adventure bike riding, you may talk about doing tight technical trail riding and stuff like that. The thing that the 500 EXC has that the WR doesn't is a license plate. Plain and simple, you can get a license plate on it. And in certain places, certain things, that's a very valuable asset. Now, when you start talking about the performance of the two bikes, they're kind of in a similar realm, because the WR, the way that Yamaha builds a WR, it could almost get a license plate. In a lot of states, it can. It's an emissions compliant bike, and in fact, it's actually almost more emissions compliant than a KTM, because on the WR you have to do certain things to modify it so you can get full throttle and take some of the restrictions out and things like that. So there's your how does it compare? Net, they're kind of trying to do the same things. If you just said which one would you take, I would take the KTM 500 straight away, every time, very quickly.
Good answer.
Good answer. It's honest. It's the way it is.
Victor, I see a comment here.
Uh-oh.
Victor said that the bike, he's talking about the picture of mine, looks like the funnel cake fryer at the LA County Fair. Then somebody else, I can't read his name, he said, I'd part that bike out with an engine looking like that.
Good. You should sell it to me right now.
Yeah,
How much?
Really?
How much?
No, I'm not. That's a good bike.
No, it's junk. It leaks oil. Like,
Gets my fat butt around.
I'll buy that thing tomorrow for the right price. So, okay. Are we done with the quick and questions?
Yeah. There's no more questions coming from the chat, so
You want to hit the questions that are in the other thing? Hey, so here's the thing. I'm going to let the chat know who our special guests are tonight. And then what we want to know is we want to know who you want to have on here. First of all, we need to know who we kick off, which co-host I kick off the show, and then who gets to take their place. So it's pretty simple. So you can kick George or Logan off, and this could be your career. It could
He's
be
going to kick Logan off. I'll leave before they throw Logan off.
Okay, so you pick George or Logan, and that was a very good sympathy ploy there, George. You have 11-time Baja 1000 winner Johnny Campbell. You could have Johnny Campbell on this show. He's in the house live. You could have Jimmy Tyler, who can install a door better than any other person within a 20-mile radius in town. In the room. You don't want to go within town.
No, yeah, no,
Not anymore. Okay. Okay, so he's good at pushing pencils, and he can install a door. You can have, that's Logan's dad, by the way.
Yep.
You can have Logan. Eric, how do you say your last name? Citron. Seriton. Eric Seriton. Eric Seriton probably built most of the Baja bikes that Johnny Campbell won the 1,000 on. Would that be semi correct, Johnny?
Yes,
Yes, sir. So if you want to know that this is the guy you really want to have on the show, because he can probably answer, especially Honda XR650 and CRF 450X questions. He can answer those things with both of his hands tied behind his back. And then is that the name of the shop? Factory Edge? Yes. Factory Edge is bringing him here tonight. And then there's this other donkey rolling around in the room, Ricky Brabeck. He's busy eating pizza, which is not on his diet. And as his trainer, his navigation trainer, I'm about ready to deck him so I can get some pizza. That's really
or
it.
Or you can ask Jimmy to leave.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
please do. Hey, if you would like any of those guys to replace me, I got 2 legs and I can walk because I'm hungry. But those are your options for the different co-hosts or guests. We'll call them guests because they don't have to do the ads.
Can you get through the write-in? Can you get through the write-in questions quick?
Yeah.
Are there any that relate to
these guys?
Expertise?
No, those will come up on the thing. But so pick your co-host, pick your guest, and if you're watching this thing, if you're listening to it on the SoundClouds or the iTunes or whatever they call those things, you should really join in live, and you can affect the outcome of this show. It's like crazy. So Logan, you want to get at this? What is Kevin?
Thanks for addressing my question, even if I don't have a Seat Concept seat.
You know that Seat Concept is a sponsor.
Yes.
And you would think that, if you do have one, your question goes to the front of the line. So if you're using some of the stuff that we support in the show, and trust me, we're very picky about the companies that we mention and talk about on this show because we use them in our world and we can talk about them comfortably. And I'm sitting comfortably here because I rode a Seat Concept seat today.
No monkey butt?
No monkey butt.
You should just say to Jimmy, let me finish the question.
I agree that the 250 XC is what suits my needs the most. But I want to say with a carbureted bike as long as I can. As far as suspension goes on a moto bike, I'd send it to Enduro spec for my needs. As far as skill level, 45 years old, A-ish, MX track on Wednesdays and woods on the weekends. My local dealer is now a beta dealer. Rod's rides in the Cross, Wisconsin. In my opinion, would the 252 stroke race edition be an off-the-shelf do-all bike? Thanks again, Kevy.
You said, in your opinion. That means my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he asked a question on Tech Talk Taco Tuesday number 116 was our last show. We're in 117.
117. Last show was 117.
This is 118.
Yeah, we're on 118.
So he was in 117. He asked a question about he was actually asking about SX or possibly a Yamaha YZ, and I'm like, hey, get the XC. And so he wanted to stay with carbureted bike, which all of a sudden is like, oh, now I kind of picked that out in the question because it wasn't explained, but I'm like, I see where he's going with this. He didn't want the TPI bike, and that's what the KTM XC was. So now he's all of a sudden he has a beta dealer. He's got a good beta dealer, and he wants to know, what about the beta? Carbureted. So it answers his question. And then he said race edition. So all of a sudden that bike starts meeting his needs. He doesn't want a fuel injected bike. The good thing is it's oil injected. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to mix the gas anymore. So I like this. It's been really good. I think that off the shelf, the race edition, the RR race edition has the Cayaba fork, which is a step up in their performance thing. It has a couple little goodies on it and stuff like that, but it has slightly different suspension. And I have had really good luck with betas. I don't think that you would be Because all of a sudden now the suspension is kind of where you want it for like the cross country, because his main focus is cross country. The problem with it, the Beta in the world of like off-road bikes, you have the KTM XCW, and then you have the XC, and the XC is just enough to do the motocross track. Maybe, you know, you can do the motocross track. The Beta, and I haven't ridden a race edition lately, but they tend to seem to be kind of similar to the regular ones in setup. It's in between those two bikes. So it may just be a step softer than a KTM XC, and maybe not as tunable because it doesn't have the air fork. You know, and the air fork is really easy to change. It's like changing spring rates, is what you want to do sometimes when you go to a motocross track. So, but I think everything else about the Beta would be really, really good. The power valve is adjustable. You can kind of tune the power, get that kind of power out of it. So I think when you all of a sudden it's like, I want a carburetor, and doesn't everybody get suspension work done just because everybody?
Yeah, they think they need to, right?
Well, well, we've done this test before.
Placebo effect.
Placebo effect on, but I don't think you're going to go wrong with a Beta either. Any of those bikes. Now that I understand that the carburetor is the primary concern, and we know we're going to need suspension work on almost anything, more than likely, to get it just right. And you don't have to do the suspension work right away. Ride the bike a little bit, figure out what you exactly want, and then do it. And I think on any of those bikes, the YZ250, the KTM XC, or the Beta, you will probably, after riding it for 10, 15, 20 hours, you'll probably say, hey, it would be a little bit better like this. So when it needs to be serviced, have the guy you trust valve it and get it set up for you and go there. So, Kevin, good luck with that.
Redneck Supreme Leader 69. I have a question just for fun. What would the worst / most ridiculous product for dirt biking sold in the last 20 years?
Ooh. I wish I would have read this question earlier. I don't know.
Spokeskins, maybe?
Spokeskins? We got spokeskins from the crowd. That's ridiculous, stupid. I agree with this.
Wherever you got that, a Cherby shirt.
The sexy shirt? No, that's the best product ever.
No.
Best product ever. I'm gonna unbox one on the show live. Anybody else got worst product? Worst thing you've ever seen? I've seen so many of them. Not really so many, but there's enough of them that. God, what is the worst thing I've seen? Ooh.
It's probably something to do with the handlebars.
Yeah, there's been some interesting handlebar things. You know what? I know what it is. So there was these things that you could plug into your spark plug cap, and then it was like another spark plug cap, roost boosts, and that was the original one. It was the roost boost, and they would intensify the spark and give you more power.
There's some legitimacy to that, because now I don't know if that product worked, but I know if you increase the resistance, the coil builds up longer. Am I right, Bob? And you might get a little more zap out of it. Is that true?
Well, that's what the marketing people say.
Yeah.
I in all of my testing stuff that I've done, I've tested a lot of different things in the spark plug realm and the sparking, this boosting thing, and man, you could tell it changed something, like the inline spark enhancer, and there was a lot of different ones. You could tell it changed something, but it didn't do anything that would, like, whatever $79, $129, $49 they were. I thought those were that. I'm gonna give it up for that one. Triple bolt triple clamps.
Yes.
Well, it depends on what you're putting them on. I used to take them out of. Used to take one bolt out of the triple bolt triple clamps. That was gimmicky, but it looked cool, right? Yeah.
I like to ride really, really rigid stuff.
Yeah, really rigid. Man, that's a redneck supreme leader. That's a good question. I'm going to think about this over the course of the next week, and hopefully we'll bring this back up.
You a North Carolina guy?
We're not sure where he's from. He didn't get that information. What does Rocky Penny want?
5 or 6 speed transmission, gearing. I've got a 21 SXF 450 that I'm tuning into a desert bike. I want more speed.
So your bike comes with a 5-speed, and you know, like when some people say desert bike, that means I'm just going to go fast on it. And at that point, you don't need the 6-speed. You can just gear up your 5-speed, and you're always going to have. You're not going to ride super technical stuff. So the taller first gear is not a big deal because you're not going to be riding technical stuff, and you make 5th gear work for the speeds you're going. There's a lot of desert racing bikes that are only 5 speeds, and they do quite well. And even with a good rider, they can, work the clutch out when they need to and be careful with it and do that. But if you want to, have the most versatility, in other words, a desert, I can take you riding in the desert, and you're going to need an extreme enduro bike. So it's like, there's places where you're going to need a first gear. And when you start needing a low first gear and a tall 6th gear, this is where 6 speeds help. But more than that, wide ratio spacing helps. So it's not so much like Yamaha has in their WR, like we just talked about, has a really good, probably the best 5-speed transmission, wide ratio. WR stands for wide ratio. They space the transmission out properly. It has a first gear that's usable and a 5th gear that pulls top speed. It's good. KTM's 5-speed transmission, especially in the SX, is designed for a motocross track, so the ratios are very close. So 1st is tall and 5th is low. It's not an ideal gearbox for having some spread, but you can shift the whole, by going to a smaller rear sprocket, or when up on the countershaft sprocket, when bigger on the countershaft sprocket, you can shift the whole thing up a little bit and make that work out, with your, and we have something on dirtbiketest.com. Trevor did a story about how to convert your KTM into from a 5-speed to a 6-speed, but I will also warn you that I think there's some changes in the newer engines that make that a little bit more difficult. And isn't he going to come on and talk about his bike?
He's going to come on after we come back from commercial break.
So when we come back from commercial break eventually, Trevor will help you answer this question, because if I remember, and when I say if I'm going to remember, Matt,
it's my job to remember.
Right. So you should remember too, Logan.
Mm-hmm.
I know you don't remember much. Yeah, it's like just in one ear, out there. What are you worrying about, like what your girlfriend's out doing right now?
No.
Do you have one girlfriend?
No.
No. Oh, you're available. Well, that's it.
You heard it here.
We're here first. Yeah.
Someone was calling him cute in the chat. Hey, Logan, just go to lunch with George. he will fix that for you.
He can't go to the VFW yet.
Oh no! This was just at we went to Roadhouse.
The Roadhouse.
Yeah, Terrible's Roadhouse for for lunch.
Hey, Victor, I translated his question. He wants to know what tire recommendation you have for Barstow to Vegas.
Kenda Parker DT, 100% absolutely positive. That's the best tire for that. Both ends. Run in the hard direction.
Right.
Johnny, you went a big ass dual sport ride. What'd you run?
I actually ran Parker DT and Washougal too.
So,
but it was just for test.
Yeah, so Johnny's always Johnny, and Johnny's testing. He's kind of like me.
But my choice would be Parker DT.
Front and rear, hard direction.
Hard direction, 100%.
I like your hat too, by the way. Looks like my hat. Kenda, sponsoring Jimmy Lewis Off-Road Training and JCR Racing here in the United States. Yeah. Guys had some, Tara's back.
Yep, she's back.
Mom racing.
Mom power.
Yeah.
Mom life.
She on Kenda's? What'd she run?
She's running Kendas. At the Grand Prix, she had a Washougal 3 front and actually a Southwick rear.
Oh, wow.
So
Because it was sandy. Yeah. So, yeah, so Victor, put that on. And Victor has another question. What's Victor's question he submitted this question via YouTube's or emails or something like that.
Yep. So I will let Logan read the question, and then I will play the video.
Oh, it's a It's a video question.
There's a video that goes with it.
Goes with
So
it.
this is the question, then he has a video of if he's doing it right.
Okay, read the question, Logan.
I do this with all my bikes. Is easier to feather the clutch and grip the handlebar at the same time. Am I the only one that shortens the clutch lever? This is for single track on my lighter bikes and for dirt riding on the big one. Jimmy.
So if you're watching the video right now, what you're going to see is, and I'll just, I haven't really, I kind of saw a clip of the video because.
Yeah, I'm gonna play the video actually. So they're not gonna be able to hear you while the video plays.
Oh, they aren't going to be able to hear me.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna switch.
No,
over.
well then you got to wait till I'm done talking because we want to watch a silent video of. So I'll tell you what.
It's not gonna be silent. It's gonna be amazing.
So all the podcast people get to listen to. Does he talk during the video, or is he playing mariachi music?
It's in Spanish and there's mariachi music.
Really? Oh, so there's some content in the video.
No, it's just him filing stuff.
It's him filing a lever off, so we don't need to see this video.
Okay.
So if
Show
you had
it anyway, that's not a way to introduce new videos to your show.
Yeah.
Well,
we don't need to see it.
George, we got better videos.
No, we got better videos.
Victor,
no, it's
show a clip of
yeah,
his
but
video.
he should have asked this question while he was filing his lever.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Here's in like because you don't want to hear it like for. Imagine you're listening to this in your
English
car.
is his second language. You may be a little shy.
Imagine you're listening to this in your car, and for the next 30 seconds, you get to hear like this when
Pull
he's.
over and get out and check it or something. If you what?
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll fix it in post.
This show has to have a
Your show.
It has to have a audio component, and I don't think that filing a lever for the next 30 seconds would be the best thing. So basically, he shows a picture, and I'll tell you what happened. Well, I know that, but what happened was Victor probably tipped over and crashed, and he broke his lever off, and he didn't want to look like a guy who didn't replace his lever, so he filed it down, which I agree with. He should file it down so the sharp points are done. But I don't necessarily cut my lever off because if you're only using two fingers on it like you're supposed to, the lever sticks out another bit of distance. It's out farther than your other fingers. It doesn't matter where that part of the lever is. Like that part of the lever is not necessarily doing anything unless it's already bent in and it's like bumping into your knuckles. Then maybe you might want to cut it off or put a new lever on. But anyway, so he just filed his lever down and he basically made a shorty lever. Back when I was a kid, when I was your age, Logan, you could buy these things called dehandlers. They were God, what was the name of the company that made those? It was it Ori Grips or there was a company that was Sunline. Sunline dehandlers, and they were like plastic and they supposedly flexed, but I broke them. But
I think Eakins owned that company.
Yeah, Dave Eakins. Yeah, it was. They made the Sparker, the Kurzman bullets, and Gold Belt. Yeah. So they had these dehandlers that were shorty levers, and now companies like ASV makes different style levers. There's a lot of companies that make different style levers to accomplish this. But Victor, you poor bastard, buy a new lever. So or hey, I'm not gonna lie, I've got a lot of levers that are exactly like you just like in the video. So where hey, maybe at the end of the show you could just tack his video on. So at the end of the show after the thing, we could just have have him filing his lever down. It's almost like actually.
It'll be a soothing sounds to go to sleep to.
Right.
Like that video we always talked about making.
Right.
I don't think people going to sleep on this show is a problem. I think we can put them to sleep pretty regular looking at the peanut gallery.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
This is a Mojave Bob question.
Oh.
You have this one? You read it off the page there.
After this question, we'll go to a commercial break.
Sounds good. And do we have a winner for the guest?
For the guest, I think Johnny.
Johnny.
Yeah.
He's in the hot seat right now. He's
Perfect,
close.
Perfect.
He's the closest one by.
Good, because I saw him falling asleep when he was not in the hot seat.
That's the way it works.
Yeah.
The homeless guy in the peanut gallery, that's Johnny Campbell? Oh, okay.
He's not a homeless guy.
Well, look at him.
He gave me gas today. I would have run out. I wouldn't be here for this show if Johnny hadn't given me gas.
Now.
I have 2 homes, but I'm not there.
Okay, question.
Feels good to know that I have learned how to set up my suspension. Thank you for all the tips over the years. Initially, I tried a stiffer rear spring
And we are talking about a Beta 300RR, by the way.
with the stiffer front spring. I could tell the bike was not balanced within just a few miles. I put a softer stock rear spring on, and it was magic. The front fork is still feels strange with it tops out in the whoops, almost like there's no top out spring. I'll probably play with the rebound clickers a bit more. The bike is handling very good overall and is a total blast to ride in all terrain.
Okay, so this is our buddy San Felipe Bob, he just fell asleep in the chat room. I just saw his notes there.
Well, it's probably because I accidentally clicked your cam instead of Logan's. So.
Oh well, that's why you're gonna get replaced next week.
Yeah, I know.
I've got a little thing here. It's the Mistakatron. I'm checking them out. So Bob so it's funny because he's texted me. Well, you can only imagine, maybe 20 times today, and some of it was about batteries and some other issues and stuff like that. But he's thanking me for helping him learn how to set up suspension, because he's basically been standing around when I've been telling other people how to set up suspension. He kind of has an idea. So he's a Yamaha guy. Bob was Blue Crew forever, and all of a sudden he decided he wanted something and he couldn't figure out exactly what it was. And I guess I talked him into buying a Beta. He bought a Beta 300, and he's really happy with it, except the suspension. It's not, it's not a Yamaha. It's not what he's used to. Yamahas tend to feel a little bit more planted, and he's, we're talking about he was riding a WR450, and before that a WR250, which is the two-stroke, and he's had these bikes till the wheels fell out from underneath them. And so I can understand that the Beta to him would feel a little bit stiff and a little bit rigid, more precise, all the things, all the directions that bikes, if you haven't ridden a new bike, a newer, in the last 5 years bike, you would be amazed by how, I would say, stiff they've gotten. And it's stiff in every aspect, like the suspension's set up a little bit stiffer, the chassis are stiffer. There's a lot of these things. So he started struggling with it. He's a taller guy, so he has more pendulum effect, and he's got to be at least 200 pounds, which is probably on the north end of the weight scale for it. So I think he went springs front and rear to begin with, and the rear spring was just too much for him. And my kind of go-to when I start talking, if I don't know anything about what I'm going to do, for every 2 rates I go up in the front, I go up 1 in the rear. This is kind of how I chase it. So if let's just say if the spring rates are 4.6, 4.8, 5.0, if I go from the stock 4.6 to a 4.8, I don't feel like I need to go up 1 in the rear yet. But if I go up 2 steps in the rear, then I'm pretty sure, two steps in the front, I'm pretty sure I need to go up 1 in the rear. I needed to kind of chase it there. So he went up 1 step each, and he felt and it's like his feel told him this. He said, okay, yeah. So he went back to it, and now he's happy with it. But back to the top out. So he's put stiffer springs in there. It's more force pushing back down. The first thing I would check would be oil height, oil level, because sometimes, the oil starts splashing around. It's open cartridge fork. Oil starts splashing around and stuff. And so at the very end of the stroke, there's not enough oil to kind of, at that point, everything's extended. There's probably a little cavitation in there. So the first thing I would try if it was a top-out problem would be to add a little bit of oil. And this will also help with bottoming resistance. So there could be that. That'd be kind of the first thing. And then if you haven't played with the rebound clickers, I would definitely try that and do big changes. Mark down where you're at, do big changes, see if they make a difference, and then try it. But this is all part of just suspension testing. This is what you do. These are the kind of the steps. So are we at our commercial break, Mark?
Yep.
Okay.
And when we come back, we'll have Johnny on, and Trevor will be on the line.
It feels like I have 3 pages of questions left.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Sounds
commercials.
Good.
Since 2009, Seat Concepts has been dedicated to making the best aftermarket seats. More comfort, more grip, more riding. For 10 years, we've continued to raise the bar. Innovation and American craftsmanship make Seat Concepts the world-leading manufacturer of power sports seats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I said 30 seconds.
What's up, guys? We're back. Tech Talk Taco Jimmy Lewis Tuesday. He's doing great.
I said 30 seconds.
30 seconds ago
Hey,
or right
dude,
now?
those are
30
Jimmy
seconds ago.
Hey, Jimmy seconds and real seconds are minutes versus seconds.
You always wonder how I beat you every time we do a rally.
I
stage.
know. Hey, but
I have
guess who
warped
won
since-
today?
I have warped since time.
You got roosted today.
No, I
Oh,
didn't.
we didn't even set up the board.
Sheesh.
We didn't set up the board. We don't need to set up the board right now. You know what
Okay.
I'm doing, Ricky, right now? You know what they call this? This is Miller High Life. This is the champagne of beers. And the reason I just opened it is because I'm celebrating my victory today on our last stage back from Dumont.
Dude, you lost.
No, I'm pretty sure I pulled in the driveway first.
Pretty sure you wanted to drag race across
The dry lake bed?
the dry lake bed.
Yeah, what was I riding?
You're riding
What?
the old Husaberg, and it lost.
No, Hoosberg did not lose.
You said you had to back her down because you were getting dusted out too much.
No, I had to
You
back
couldn't
her
keep
down
up.
because we were on the dry lake bed. I'll kid you not, you were able to go probably like a mile an hour faster than me on the dry lake bed.
I didn't even give it full gas.
Well, neither did I. I had to back off because I was
I didn't
spinning.
want to dust you out because that would have been really messed up of me.
Yeah, well, that's what you think. But you did throw out a compliment. You did notice something about that Husaberg.
Yeah, I did.
What does it have? What does it have a lot of?
A lot of torque.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, enough Husaberg talk. Yeah, I like my. That's why I'm opening the champagne of beers. I'm celebrating my victory today. I wish I could have ate dinner.
It's right there in front of
It's
you,
right
dude.
there.
I'm working on it.
You have your co-hosts there for a reason.
So,
Slurp that thing down.
okay, what are you guys going to talk about?
We don't even know.
I'm not.
Okay, what I think. Do we have questions for these guys?
Yeah, we do actually.
I mean,
We
they
do,
have
actually.
questions for Eric, so maybe Eric should come on. All right, Eric, come on.
Eric's going to come on later. We only have the 2 microphones right now.
I mean, Eric
we're,
can,
we're
he can
supposed to
take my
do.
spot.
We're supposed to do Roosterando, but can we throw Ricky's bike sales pitch in there? Oh, Trevor's calling. Hold on, let's handle Trevor.
Let's do Trevor.
Hey, so
Yeah.
before you answer,
You
just
want these?
we're gonna give him a really hard time because you and me and him may have won the Baja 1000. Hey, Trevor, welcome to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. You are live.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we every once in a while we'll take someone like you. You're sitting here with 3 guys that have won the Baja 1000. Do you ever aspire to do that?
Not really. No.
Not really. Yeah.
Not. I don't know. Maybe you could talk me into it tonight. We'll see.
Okay. Yeah. Is he? Would he be qualified to apply for a JCR team ride, Trevor? He's like he's doing what I used to do. You know, like you can just like ride for anybody.
Yeah, I know. He actually, that's kind of a nice position to be in, really, because then you could kind of pick your flavor.
Right. When you want to ride a Husaberg, you ride a Husaberg.
Exactly. You might go really fast on a dry lake bed, or you might break down in the middle of the desert.
That only happened one time, and even Kendall couldn't get me fixed. But it made it back. I made it back to the truck, right?
It's okay. I always have a toe strap, Jimmy.
So, hey, Trevor, welcome to the show. You're going to try to talk to 3 guys that have won big-ass races on Hondas, and you're going to talk about a what?
One of those orange bikes.
Orange ones. That's called a KTM. I actually recommended a KTM 500 EXC to almost anybody that called in, but you don't really go for the 500. You're more of a 450 guy.
Yeah, we race 450s. I don't know if I'm man enough to ride the 500 just yet.
Okay, yeah, working up. Have you ever won Best in the Desert overall, number 1?
Yeah, a couple
Ricky?
times.
Yeah.
I think,
Oh, geez, now I feel like left out.
I think I have like 4.
So the other 3 guys I'm talking to have all won Best in the Desert championships.
Hey, we tried to win the Vegas to Reno once. But
I didn't do very good at that. I can show you the rock I hit. It's still there.
Yeah.
It's right on the side of the road, and you can probably show me the dent in the fork leg.
Yeah.
Actually, I wish you could get me that thing because I'd like to hang it up on my wall of destruction.
Yeah, that
This wall?
No, there's one in the shop. I'm starting to hang up pieces of things that I've smashed, like that rim that I did today. Do we have a picture of this?
Hey, you have a lot of KTMs. You might need a bigger wall.
The rim.
Oh, you mean all my bikes should just be hanging up on the wall?
All right, you ready for the rim picture?
Yeah, put the rim picture up.
Yeah.
So this happened today. This is a picture of the wheel.
Man.
When I showed up out at Dumont today, this is what my front rim looked like, just in case you're wondering.
I think Matt's the only one that can see it.
Yeah, I think the whole chat will see it eventually.
see it right here.
Pop up there.
on George's iPad.
So it's not a brand new one anymore. I'm gonna have to send that off to W to get that thing fixed for sure. So Trevor, you wanted to. We have a guy that wanted to know about a 6-speed transmission. Do you have a 6-speed transmission in your bike currently?
Yes, we do. It's kind of tricky now. I think 2020, I think it was, KTM went to the Pankel transmission.
Right.
And so that used like a different spline and all that stuff. So for like the newer bikes, we just put a 2019 transmission in it.
So you just took the new stuff out and put old stuff back in.
Yeah.
Okay, so it can be done.
Yeah, I think the EXCs are still the old style. So if you can get new EXC parts, I think they would work, but I haven't double checked that.
Oh, yeah, because someone asked that question earlier. So, okay, so what was next on your agenda? I know you had an agenda.
I think Matt had an agenda.
Matt had an agenda.
Something about talking?
Yeah, he wanted to talk about his KTM
Yeah, so
because he's got there's supposedly a write up coming up.
So you're supposed to tell everybody about the Storan dirt bike test.
Yeah.
Is it up there?
How much? It's almost done, but ran out of time.
This is what we work with. He's coming on to talk about something that's not done. It's kind of like this whole show.
Kind of like the show.
Yeah, I know. You know this. Ricky told me earlier he thinks the show would be a lot better if I just cut the questions to 30-second answers. Do you think that's a good?
I mean, it's not a bad idea, but
yeah. Well, you know,
hey, some questions go on for like 30-minute answers, and it's like, man, it's like a yes or no.
Because Ricky, problem is Ricky's like a racer, and he's got a bedtime and stuff. He has to go to bed early, all the other things. So we're keeping him up late. You want to make a road book? This is a good time to make a road
book.
book.
I woke up at 4:30 this morning to come out here.
I know Johnny fell asleep once already.
Yeah.
Hey, the answers were so long. I was just so there snoozing.
You're not the typical. You're not the typical audience for this show.
No,
I mean, this guy just wanted to know if a 2016 was a good bike to buy for $6,000 or something.
What was your answer?
No.
Okay. What does Ricky have to sell?
Doesn't he have an XR 650?
I think there's a video about this.
Oh yeah.
It
We'll share it with we'll share it with the chat here.
Because what we really want you to do is we want you to start sending in video things. So this is sort of we couldn't tell it was a Rooster Endo submission or just a bike sales pitch.
No, it's a Rooster Endo, dude. Because you said last week on episode whatever that was last week that it would be cool if we did video intros for Rooster Endo, and I did it thinking a lot of other people would do it, and I heard that nobody did it, dude.
Oh no, yeah.
We got others, but anyway, I'll...
What's up, guys? Episode 357 of Rooster Endo. With me, I brought my XR 650. Personally, never ridden it in the dirt, just down the street, around the block. Here, there, whatever. Anyways, we got the Precision Concepts suspension, Maxxis tires, Amy grips, Renthal bars, IMS products tank, stock seat, airbox update right there, chain, sprocket, XR's only chain guide. She's doing great. Thing runs. My dad's ridden it twice, both Barcelona, Vegas. Other than that, it's for sale. So let's give it some roost, and hopefully someone buys it.
Okay, so the question is, what's the price?
I have it up for $5,000.
$5,000.
Yeah, it's plated.
Oh, California plated.
No, Arizona.
Oh, Arizona. I got a California plated XR 650 with electric start.
Oh, I don't have that, but it starts. It starts up first.
Problem
kick.
is there's no parts for the electric start, and it's got about 10 more starts in it. And Heather told me I can't sell it. So
I've never even ridden the bike.
So do we have a picture of this? Is it in one of the things?
I thought it was.
It's in one. Grab all that stuff in there. We'll find that, and then I'm gonna. Okay, here's the picture. Yeah, the picture's up.
I'm getting it up. I thought I had it ready.
I thought this show was good too.
I thought it was too, but
I was.
You know what? I think I deserve a little pay cut after tonight.
An XR 650 is an XR 650. So, you don't even have the JCR 1X triple clamps.
Dude, I don't know anything about these bikes.
He was
Kiddo.
too young.
Kiddo. I hardly don't either. I was pretty much done by the time like this bike almost finished me off.
It's just a
By
legendary.
the time you endoed, you were done.
Yeah.
It's a legendary Baja bike, so I thought I needed
Except then after you bought one and you rode it into the ground, you probably put like 25,000 miles.
I had to rebuild the top end on it. And I was actually blown away by when I rebuilt the top end on it, like how much power it gained. Like, because that's how tired it was. I mean, the problem that the Altar sand dunes, like bucket full of sand in the airbox.
Yeah, because
that doesn't help.
Yeah,
but
you had some no toil like wound up filter you tried to put in there.
like a dirty pair of underwear or something.
Well, it actually it completely plugged the filter because it was like silt and sand, and then the thing has so much suction it actually made the filter shrink, and then it sucked because I could tell you stories about how this bike was developed, and you could probably tell a lot of stories about how this bike was developed, and all really good intentions, but a lot of kind of cockamamie ideas. And that air filter was very, we'll call it Husky-esque. You know, this one single-sided, very easy access, all this stuff. Probably not the best for like if you're looking at like what we call Honda durability standards and just like it has to do this, and especially when you replace the filter with an aftermarket one that doesn't meet the same standards. But that thing sucked a metric ton of sand into the motor, and it went back to the Altar like 2 more times after that and sucked more sand. And so, yeah, top end really helped it out. What an indestructible pig. So how much sand has this one sucked, Ricky?
My dad's the only one that's ridden that thing since I've owned it, so I don't know.
Like a dual sport ride.
Hey, if
That
you
thing's
took
brand new.
He rode at Barstow to Vegas.
That's
and he only did 1 day each year.
That's a really nice chariot for Barstow to Vegas. And
Dude.
Barstow to Vegas is in a couple weeks. If you're looking for a B2V bike, this would probably be a really good bike.
I got like bags and stuff for it too, but I thought it was maybe gonna ruin the Rooster Indo picture, so I didn't put them on.
Because it does have the is that a factory side panel? Where'd you get that? Where'd you get the airbox cover?
XRs only.
Oh, they do that too.
Yeah,
well, I did it, but
they
I
made
bought
patterns. Like once we designed that for in the factory
In the race bike, yeah.
and then we kind of everybody started copying the dimensions of the holes and everything.
But then I seen some other 650s like.
We can't talk about this for more than 30 seconds, by the way.
Dude, you just went on forever with your about your freaking Altar bike.
And the hunk of turd.
Yeah.
Hunk of turd. Oh, if I had a bell that made the inverse sound of a bell, I would have rung it right now. But keep going.
No, I just about the side plate pieces. I've seen 650s with big old holes drilled in, like five holes.
That whole design there is actually
It works
from HGA. Like the specific size and design was for maximum. So yeah,
power up kit. What was a power up kit in that thing? Standard bore, right?
Yeah, it was still a 650.
High compression.
We did a high compression
cam.
piston, camshaft, clutch springs. And the cam chain was 1 link thicker, right, Eric? It didn't have a clutch basket though. In final, that was a 600.
Yeah.
It did have the updated clutch basket sleeve.
Yeah, because.
So it was an HRC kit. I wonder if you could still buy that.
No,
that was just like kind of a limited.
Long time ago, it went away.
Yeah, and those are hard to get. You had to know how to get them. You could get them, but you had
there was a part number. There's a Honda part, so you
Right.
can go to your dealer and order one. But they were actually really a bargain. I mean, for what you got out of
Right.
it,
Hey,
So-
the XR650. I mean, forever. It's like if you wanted a bike, even God, with all the hoops that are down there now. But if you're not going to ride in the hoops down in Baja, or you just want to like knock some miles out, this is a great bike. And so this is going to go on the roof side, not because it's your bike and not because it's for sale and you're using this as a. I'm going to talk about your bike too much right now.
I wasn't using
We're
it.
going on at least 29 minutes.
I wasn't using it for anything, but I was using it for the video for Rooster Indo, like you said last week to do.
Right. No, it's good. Ricky set an example that everybody should follow, and you should buy Ricky's bike. That it's probably going to be gone tomorrow. You selling a Sprinter van too? What else you selling?
No.
A Razor. Sprinter van, a Razor,
and my small van.
Small van.
Dinky.
Ricky's yard selling. He's got to sell everything he owns to go back over to Dakar so he can win again, because that's the way Dakar riders work.
Yep.
I was going to say that when we first started riding the KTM 500s, we talked about this earlier, stiffer, more aggressive, lighter. They danced a little bit more, and we all missed our KTM 500s. I mean, we missed our XR 650s. A lot of us, that was our long distance go-to bike. And we started finding that if we put a one bigger countershaft sprocket on the KTM and put a 5-gallon tank on it and did all this stuff, we could almost get it to feel like that. Never like this. It never went tug, tug, tug. It was a little more aggressive, but and like I told Johnny when he was asking me like how my Husaberg ride was today down to the dunes. I said it's like an XR 650. It makes all that power until like the XR 650 would just kind of flatten and sign off. My Husaberg has 2,000 more RPMs of increasing power at that point, like that, and it's like almost lighter. So, okay, that's a Roost. Next one on the list.
We should do Trevor's bike next.
Oh, is
Trevor still on the line?
Yeah.
Trevor, you still there? Trevor,
Still here.
That's why I'm like, hey, we should do.
Did
his
you
bike.
fall asleep?
Kind of.
I did.
Kind of. Did you learn
Kind
anything?
of.
Did you learn anything?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I got an offer to race someone's XR 650, and after listening to that, maybe I might have to take him up on it.
It would be an education, and as long as you can get the brakes to work a little bit better, that's a great bike. Like that because it's a heavy bike. It's hard to slow that sucker down.
Oh yeah, we got stories.
Yeah.
We got stories. Okay, where's Trevor's bike?
It's over there.
Oh, there's a picture in there.
Yeah, he was gonna.
Trevor, why don't you tell us about your bike?
Yeah,
He has one. Oh,
It just says the year, what it is.
Oh, but Trevor's going to tell us all about it. So this is Trevor's 2012. Wait, no, 2000 and what? I just dropped the sheet.
21.
2021.
450 SXF.
Okay, Trevor, go.
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 Do I have 30 seconds or more, or what?
Just tell us the important parts so I can decide whether this bike roosts or endos. Because right now it's slipping down the scale. It's starting to angle. Well, it's starting to angle like this, but it's going backwards. If you know what I mean.
So, it's got the big, not in that picture, but we raced all year on the big 4.5 gallon tank that you just talked about. That was a big roost for that bike. Gearing 1548 to try and keep up with Ricky.
Top speed.
What else?
Top speed.
Like 111, 113, somewhere around there.
You gonna call BS on that?
I didn't go that fast.
You never went that fast. When he beat you, he never went that fast. So keep going.
All right. Has the Kenda Parker DT rear tire? I know this is Jimmy approved.
Best tires ever. That's it.
Yeah,
It just started roosting. Now it's going that way.
It's a Kenda front tire. I won't name the model, but it's a Kenda front tire.
Which one? No, wait. You guys run. You tell us what you guys really run.
DOT tires.
No.
He's afraid to say. He runs
Jimmy's gonna hate me.
He doesn't want to give out his secrets. I get it.
Everybody, a lot of guys are running those DOT tires. I never would.
Yeah. It's I think the K270 they call it, the rear tire.
Not the Trackmaster.
No, it's like
it's the more
tire.
dual sport one. It's like the
Yeah.
Bear Claw or something like that.
Yeah.
You got to do what you got to do when
It works for us.
when your partner likes to ride a gear low and spin
And make dust.
Oh, Ricky says you guys make a lot of dust.
You make a lot of dust. All right, that's good. Not enough, I guess, but yeah. And then front tires, Washougal too. I know you don't really like that one, but we've come to like it, I guess. PC exhaust, race gas. Other than that, it's all soft. 6-speed tranny, like we talked about.
What kind of race
First
gas,
circuit
bud?
linkage. Yeah, that's about
Well, they
it.
pay for it, so they're not going to tell you.
F&L.
F&L. That's
F&L.
good. What
Yeah.
about Nitro Mooses?
Yeah, we got Nitro Mooses.
What about your TM Design Works stuff? Protection.
TN Design Works, skid plate, and chain guide. We got a seat concept seat too.
That's good. That's why it's like slowly going up the roost factor. What about? I'm just curious. What about your big sponsor? Who's your big sponsor?
Three Brothers KTM
Okay,
and John Kilmartin.
John Kilmartin.
Yep.
We brought him home the #1 plate for another year.
Yep.
Are there good videos on dirt bike test of you plowing through silt?
Yes, there should be. Plenty.
Right. And no donkeys were harmed in the making of this #1 plate.
Not this bike. No.
Not this one.
No, I think we hit some rabbits and some birds, but no large animals.
Hey, what happened in that silt pile at Vegas Trino, bud?
I don't know. I ran out of talent, maybe.
I think you ran right into what you saw you were going to hit.
What was that?
I think you ran right into what you saw that you were going to hit.
Yeah, I kind of came up quick. I didn't really see it till like last minute.
Is that where you passed him?
No, it's when he kissed the front fender and went off the track. And
Oh,
almost
on one of the videos.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
if you want to see these videos, you gotta watch Trevor's videos when he puts them up on Dirt Bike Test. I know, he's just trying to increase his exposure, but they are worth watching.
Yeah,
like I sit there and watch them, and I just go, "Oh man, you need to come out and see some Jimmy Lewis off-road training schools." That's what I say because I'm always thinking about myself, when we're doing this. So
He can probably make it this weekend.
you could make it this weekend. You don't have a race this weekend, do you?
There's an SRA, but I'm not.
You're not married to it. I bet you could learn a lot more by coming out to our 2-day training this Saturday and Sunday in Pahrump, Nevada, than you could by going to a really awesome SRA Grand Prix and winning a trophy.
I'll give him another sticker.
George, we got a sticker thrown in the match. You can win a sticker if you come out here.
Oh, if
And
I get a sticker, then I'm all in.
the best part will be Logan will be telling you how to ride. And he's throwing up the #1 symbol right now because Logan, you won't be there. You got to work this weekend or something? You got a real job?
He's getting married.
He's getting married. Yeah, that's what happens in
married. Oh, man.
He doesn't have a
Trump got to
girlfriend
him.
yet, but he's getting married. So, okay, well, I think your bike roos. I'm going to put it right up there,
Roos?
right behind the XR650, but kind of like close by. It gets
All
you a
right,
roost.
I'll take it.
So you can
I'll take it.
check off all your boxes on your sponsorship list that you did. And we should get. I'm going to look at it. Are there more stickers that we missed out on? There's no George sticker on it.
No, we ran out.
No.
Factory Connection does your suspension?
Yes. I'll just say yes.
You just say yes? That's what the sticker says.
Yeah. Yeah, the forks are pretty good from them.
Yep.
And then for the shock, we did some testing and stuff. It's a little different, but yeah,
Wait.
the bike works really good.
Wait,
Maybe we'll have to get you out there.
you did testing.
Yes.
This is
We tried to
something
make
I've been trying to get him to learn about is like testing. Like testing is like they show up and they ride the bike and then they go, okay, I've ridden it, and that's done. It's not really not a lot of testing.
Don't bring anything to test.
Don't bring any testing. So hey, you excited about riding YZ125 tomorrow, Trevor?
I cannot wait.
Okay, you're gonna wait a long time because I'm first in line, and then you have to shoot a lot of photos of me, and then Matt's gonna stand next to you and talk to you about how awesome I rode.
Awesome road.
Yeah.
No.
All right.
So okay, we'll see you tomorrow morning at about 7:30.
All right. I will be there.
Okay, bring all your video stuff.
I will do that.
Okay, see you tomorrow. Right, bye.
All right. See ya.
Okay, that was Trevor Hunter. He is probably the person that puts up the most content on dirtbiketest.com these days.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm always busy trying to fix my truck or something like
Truck
that.
guy.
I'm like
Dodge mechanic.
showing Ricky how fast I am most of the time out in the desert. Next bike on Rooster Ender, Ricky. Pick one. Say the name.
Yeah, so there's like a couple left, but this one really caught my eye because it's a Husqvarna, but I mean that thing is definitely built.
Trailmaker.
That's a Trailmaker bike.
Chad.
I think.
It's Chad
Grass's
bike.
The
And
chainsaw. It does it.
I'll tell you.
Dude, look at the chainsaw. It's not even a small chainsaw. It's like a real chainsaw, like a big one.
That's a 26-inch bar.
So I'm saying it's not like one of them little tiny ones you carry in a backpack. That's
No.
a real.
So I like this. So this is it's a mostly stock 2020 FE 501S. And I like this guy because if you're going to carry a chainsaw like that, you're clearing trails and you have no idea how many people that go out and ride all those trails and never clear them, and they don't appreciate you as much as I do, or I think a lot of us do. And how come you don't have a Husqvarna chainsaw on the front of that thing? I mean, at least a steel. Come on, buddy. So
Come on, bud.
yeah, okay. Come on, bud. It's like that's like driving a Ferrari and having a Hyundai sticker on the front with an Echo chainsaw.
The poor guy had the chainsaw before the bike, most likely.
Okay, you're right. So then you think he's gonna have a Husky chainsaw like next year when he sends this photo in?
No, because that chainsaw probably works fine.
It probably does.
Just paint it white, dude.
Well, it looks like a steel. Like the steel is the Ferrari of chainsaws. Anybody that's into like cutting wood,
Yeah.
like
Well,
knows this.
Isn't Echo and Steel like the same?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, Echo. I mean, I don't have any, so I can't really bag on them. But I mean, I use steel chainsaws and they're really good. I've run Huskies before and they're okay. What's the other one I have? I have a big one. This is a Roost. It goes way up here for cutting trails. Awesome job. Next
I wonder
bike.
where he's cutting trails at. If he's cutting trails,
Yeah, where's he at? No, we don't want to talk about. We never talk about where they're at. It's just he's doing a good job, and then you have to go find it. It's super top secret. Like we talked about, Johnny went a really good dual sport ride.
Hey.
I'm gonna say where. Hey,
Dude,
how was your event, by the way? Your handstands at 100.
Handstands at 100 miles an hour was really good event. We were able to just going to say that the event was about the people that were there. You know, it wasn't Scott or I, but we just got it together and hosted it, and over 300 people showed up, and it was really fun. There was a lot of, you know, old desert racers, some young desert racers like Trevor and Hines were there and stuff, but but yeah, it was just a really neat reunion. Guys I hadn't seen in like 25 years, and I mean, we could have stayed there for hours and talked and stuff and just caught up and whatever. It was super fun, but we did start off with a dual sport ride in the morning. It's just really easy. It was kind of like an add-on event to the event.
But I mean, some people like for me, I don't want to say hate going to those events, but I don't like going to like events where I stand around and talk. That's what I do on Tuesday nights, and it's just all a shill. But and the good thing is I control this. I can just talk about myself the whole time. It's different. But like, so we've been to the Trailblazers event, and I've been to some of the Off-Road Hall of Fame things and stuff like that. And it's like, I understand. I kind of understand. I get the thing, but it's cool to be able to get to see. I mean, I like to go to them because I get to see guys that I haven't seen for a long time, and guys that have just sort of disappeared. I remember guys that I knew when I was younger and growing up that were desert racer guys, it took me a while to get into it, but then I started learning who the guys were.
Yeah.
You know, the guys that had won the same number one plates that I'd won 10 years earlier.
Yeah.
That did. And where did they, and I was curious, like, what did they go do afterwards? Because like desert racing is not really a career. We somehow have turned it into a career, but like, what did they go do afterwards, and where did they go? And you get to, you know, talk to these guys, and then same thing. And I'm always stoked when I see younger guys there, like Ricky showed up at Trailblazers this year, and I didn't know that Trevor went. I'm pissed off because he should have done a damn story on Dirt Bike Test.
Yeah.
He should have, you know, wrote up about it. But like, and it's hard to get to those events, and I imagine the future of these sometimes might be doing some sort of online, you know, podcasting videos of them so people can join in from everywhere, because there's a lot of people that are really interested. But I'm stoked that you and Scott got together to do that and put it together, because I think it's like Trailblazers is like kind of the, I want to say the older generation. Like that's like we're the kids. Like Ricky's is now when he's looking at the handstands at 100, and and there's always a certain amount of that history that's cool to learn about and to see, and then you see these guys walk around and you go, I hope I didn't wreck myself that bad. I always look at Crazy Nate, you know.
Yeah. So it was cool though. I mean, to have, you know, focus on desert racing, because I don't think anybody's really focused solely on desert racing to have an event that was a get together.
Well, they have the ISDE reunion nights.
Yeah.
Get this straight. ISDE reunion rides, and it was even ISDT, which is like even older reunion rides, and those are, you know, awesome events, and I'm part of some of the groups that get to see some of those. I haven't been to, like I said, it's not the first thing on my list because I always want to go riding, but they've also integrated some of the riding parts into that, but yeah, super cool. So if you don't know, is there a website we can see stuff about this? Do you guys build that up? Because I know it was kind of quick. It came together really quick.
Yeah, it did. We talked about it during the summer. We just you know, we got together and had dinner and stuff, and then it just like started going, and then it started moving really fast. So at Hard and Off Road I think he has most of the stuff. I didn't work on that side of the deal, but the handstands at 100 mile an hour, and we had the two neat things we did have was the historic bike display. I mean, we had bikes from Eddie Mulder's like I can't even remember, it was early 60s, like Big Bear, or nowhere, must have been like Red Mountain National Hare and Hound bike. Like in the 60s, they called it a National Hare and Hound.
Yeah.
All the way up to like Preston's bike, who won District 37,
right,
you know, this year. And in one thing that was really fun for me was to see Jan Roberts' 1971 Husky District 37 #1, and then 50 years later, Preston Campbell's District 37 #1 bike. So we had like 50 years span of historic bikes there. That was really rad, and So that really gave everybody like a talking, get together and something really to focus on. And then at the end of it, we displayed the new digitally remastered On Any Sunday.
Okay.
Which is the 50th anniversary of that as well.
Yeah, it's funny to think that video or that movie, it was a movie back then. It went to movie theaters.
Yeah.
It was kind of special release. It was like, when Bruce Bound was doing Endless Summer, he did the same thing with On Any Sunday, and it was like kind of a real limited release where it was, I don't know if it was actually self-narrated, like I heard that the Endless Summers were, where we would go and play the film and he would talk over it, and then that became the actual real film. But it's neat to see the history and how many people, prior to us and sort of us, believe it or not, one of the things that really got me in was On Any Sunday 2, which was like this horrible remake of On Any Sunday 1. Somebody thought they could make some money. And it wasn't horrible because it was the same format. And go look that one up. We need to start remastering that.
I really enjoyed that one because obviously I have a personal connection with Ogilvy and stuff.
Right.
And so he was the guy in the desert at that time.
Because who they use at motocross is Bob Hanna, right?
So
who is
they did a big thing on Hanna.
Yeah. That's what I remember. Hanna's always will always be one of my just heroes from motocross, and not only from what he accomplished on the bike, but I got to meet him as a person, and just the interactions I have with that guy is like, that guy is just world class badass 100% all the time.
Racer, yeah.
And I still need to challenge him now that we're both older, and I'm younger than him, but he's older, to outbreak. I want to outbreak him into a turn. Because I tell people I can outbreak anybody. He's the one guy I'd be scared of because I think he's got the same bad attitude as I do. But cool. Next Rooster Endo. Did we waste too much time on that, Ricky?
I mean, that was a good thing to talk about. The rest of these bikes are just orange, so I don't know what you want to do.
Ride red. That's what you're supposed to say. I'm Blue Crew. Is there? Just grab one. Pick one out. Just say the name and hand it to me.
He's got a lot of shit coming soon, he says.
Eric. Oh, jeez. Eric.
But that doesn't even count because it's not even there yet.
Fajaro. You read off the things he says he has.
Eric Fajardo. Fajardo, maybe. I don't know. It's a 2016 KTM 500 EXC 6 days. Ball Designs LED. Seat Concepts.
Good.
Recluse Torque.
Good.
Bark Busters.
Okay.
It's got a tuner, EJK. Yeah. Moto Billet end cap.
Yep.
Moto Minded dash.
Yep.
And then some more accessories coming soon, quote unquote.
He's not done?
No. It's coming soon. He's got a 4-gallon, a Chirby's tank, a Recluse Radius CX. I don't know exactly what that is.
That's the Recluse clutch, yeah.
But he already has a Recluse clutch, right?
He's doubling up. Oh, it's coming soon.
Yeah, it's coming soon.
But he said Recluse Torque. Oh, he has a torque drive clutch.
He has a torque drive right now.
And he's going to auto clutch. He's evolving like I have. Full. It's like, why pull that lever when you can have it done automatically? That's what I always say.
And he's got I don't know what I've never even heard of that. The Del Saggio fork kit.
It's suspension. Everybody has to have suspension. That's a nice.
But it's coming soon.
Nice. Well, he's advertising for companies he hasn't even tested on yet. It's all good. It's a Roost. Next bike. We're going to burn through these things.
All right, we're burning through them. Right here, small bike. We got Dave Fessler.
Dave Fessler. That's a small picture, too. Here we go. Here's the other thing. If you look at this picture closely, Ricky, what I thought that was his stand. His bike stand.
Dude, I thought it was, too. I thought it was a log.
It was a log. It was a backpack. But this guy's actually, the next guy, what's the guy's name again? Dave Fessler?
Yeah.
Dave Fessler is actually using a legitimate log to stand his bike up on. So we're going to call this like lumberjack skills, or you're a poor person.
Or you're just out trail riding and there's nowhere to put your bike.
No, it looks like he's at his hunting camp. It's like...
Maybe he knows Ospo.
Yeah, maybe he knows Paul Ospo. Dude, his helmet matches his bike.
That's how you know you buy the Chaparral package.
The package. Okay, what's he got on it?
Or as George would say, he threw the catalog at it.
He's got he doesn't have a George sticker, but this is color.
He said it's pretty basic 6 days, he says. FMF pipe. I don't know. He's got EE skids and guard.
Enduro Engineering.
Okay.
Yep.
He's got the Ball Designs light with the Moto Minded mount.
Yep.
seat concept seat.
Oh yeah,
and he's got the JD Jet.
It's roosting. It's this thing roosting all the way up. But I like his color scheme. Take a look at it. He's got the Dayglow fork guards, and then he goes back to the Dayglow side panels on the side.
Way too much color, dude. That probably looks good in photos.
It matches. Look at the helmet though on the back of the back of the bench. Here,
it looks great.
Yeah, put it on the roost side over there. Just don't get too close to that Husaberg on the end.
Dude, that thing got smoked today. That thing goes backwards now.
Where's your rally bike?
Dude, I sent that in too.
It's buried underneath here.
I sent a rally bike video.
Buried under Husaberg roost.
Yeah,
all right,
I'm still enjoying my champagne of beer.
Here's Logan Moore's.
Okay, what has he got?
Oh yeah. KTM SXF 350 FMF pipe, Trailtech stator, Baja Designs XL Pro headlight, a Task wiring kit, 4-gallon tank, Fastway kickstand, Works connection, whole shot device. Yeah, but
yeah. I'm wondering about maybe he's doing night races.
But
hey, Johnny,
he has a light.
Look at that thing.
But he has a light. But
Johnny, remember when we did when we did night races back when they very first kind of got popular, and we had to show up to the start line with a towel over our headlight.
Yeah, we had a Home Depot light we made in your garage.
I know, but it kicked everybody's ass.
It had like 4 rivets and a freaking.
It worked though, didn't we win almost every time we raced?
Bubble gum holding the wires on.
It was one of those.
But it didn't fail. Never failed.
It never failed, and it kicked butt over what was available.
What was available? It was pioneering at the time.
And then Baja Designs copied it and called it a Takati.
I don't want to say they copied it. They made it better. I mean, they did because Alan. You know, I'd always talked to. I'd known Alan because he was making dual sport kits, and they were just starting to get into lighting, and there was a need for lighting, and they were building they were trying to copy what you guys were racing with in Baja, which was by far and away the best system. The two CBs, 100 watt, 150s.
No, they were 100.
100, but different patterns and just really good, just super solid system. And Kawasaki was trying that triple thing, and there's all these crazy things that were going on, and it was just like, just stick with what works.
The basic.
And then HID started coming in, and there's lots of cool stories about this, but we pointing at the seat?
Yeah, it's a seat dude, it's a Moto seat.
It's a Moto seat.
And he didn't name it. He didn't put it on there because I think he got a little scared.
It's
a Moto seat, dude.
A Moto? It's a brand?
Yeah, like MOTO seat.
Oh, I don't know what that is. I'm not familiar. It's another seat company. I don't know everything, so it's got a lot of stuff on it, but it doesn't have a seat concept seat. Who sponsors this segment, by the way? This segment, Rooster Endo, is brought to you by Seat Concepts. And if you want your bike to roost, you might as well just put a seat concept seat on it.
All right,
that's all I have to say.
This is the last one.
Okay, this is the last one. Then we're bringing Eric on.
Yeah, we are.
Because we have questions for you.
And
he's almost awake.
This guy's name is James.
Have a Monster. It's your sponsor for right now.
Where I'm at.
It's midnight where you're at. You're in Pahrump, Nevada. James Pentecost.
There you go. He's got a 17 FE 350 S.
This looks like the same one that had the chainsaw on it, except it's a 350.
Yeah, he bought new in 2019, fully desmogged. Lowered it 25 millimeter, Race Tech rear spring, 22 millimeter handlebar risers. What?
Wait, yeah, lowered the seat, went with.
Dude, that guy's cruising down the freeway. He's got the Recluse.
Hey, he could be built like George. You're short legs, long torso, right? Yeah, it happens. This is why you can modify your bike. Don't judge. You modified your bike today.
Lowered 25. Yeah. So that's like the rear link.
He's
right?
like a factory rider, except he's a regular dude. He's doing it with the parts that he can buy.
And he's got the Recluse CX.
Right.
Kickstarter.
He added a Kickstarter to it because these bikes don't come with one. So he wants to be like Johnny Campbell and kickstart his bike if he needs to when somebody with electric start is picking on
or when
you.
You leave your key on. You got the Vortex ECU, the Lex exhaust.
That's a Rocky Mountain MC ATV part?
Seat concept seat.
Oh,
and he's got I don't know if I say it right, but sick ass racing LEDs and controls, enjoyable to dual sport or single track. Hey, so on all these Rooster Endo bikes, there's a lot of stuff on here that I've never even heard of. Like all these products, like I've never heard of Lex exhaust.
Yeah, so it's like I hadn't heard of that Moto seat. There's a lot of stuff out there. There's so much stuff you can modify with.
Am I saying that right? Is it sick ass or
sick ass? Yeah, so they make like little wiring. So on some of my KTMs that I have, I take the key off, and sick ass makes this little plug that I can plug in and make it so that it's a key eliminator. And they make like instead of having a big thick,
that's the bike that wasn't having power last week because of that sick ass connection.
No, that was different. George saw what that. No, that was a different bike. That was actually.
I was with you.
No, that was a regulator. That was a regulator.
You're all, man, I don't know where this wire thing's coming from.
It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that Husaberg problem I had. Like, remember that year we had all those wires, that spaghetti wires? We were down in the river, and me and Kendall were pulling all the wires out while all your buddies were pulling up, going, "Is this ride over yet?"
That's like the bike that you had last week too. Me and George were looking at it. You have so many wires.
I know,
and nothing on your bike.
It's a voltage regulator. Jeez. No, it's a relay. It was a relay that went bad. That's all it was.
Fixed itself through a couple bumps.
Well, you know how I got back to the truck before you did?
Yeah. That's because I figured out the road book.
Yeah, I know. I figured out the road book. So, okay.
I think that's Rooster Endo.
That's Rooster Endo. Thank you guys for submitting your Rooster Endo. If you want to know if your bike Rooster Endos,
we need more videos, guys.
Yeah, submit videos like Ricky did.
Oh, we also have another video from Andrew.
Oh, that's a prop. Let's watch this. Let's watch this video.
Yeah,
you got this thing queued up?
Why are we the only ones that did this?
Let me cue it up really quick, and then I'll switch it over.
So this is a video. It's not Andrew Short's bike, by the way. So Andrew Short was at the track, and his buddy was having a problem with his bike, and he said, Andrew, he actually got a rear flat tire, but then he was talking about how his bike was working before the rear flat tire, and Andrew walked up and shot a video of it, and this is what you're going to see right now.
Hey Jimmy, I have a question for Taco Tuesday. My tire is just not hooking up very good. I don't know if it's the tire or this thing coming out. I just put a new tire in. Can you help me understand what the problem is here or where this came from?
Is that a fork in his tire?
Tire iron.
No, how do you leave a tire? Dude, I heard someone do that before that I know.
Hey, I've done it before, but
guilty.
I've done it before too. I've had a tire and flip into a tire. So so we've got 3 people here that have done this before. At least when I got done,
I'm not one of them.
When I got done, I looked on the ground and I'm like, there's only 2 tire irons. Where did the other one go? And somehow it slipped in. So I actually figured it out and like, oh my God, it's in the tire. So I pulled it back out. But you've stuck one in there before?
Oh man, the first time I was pre-running the Baja 1000 with Chuck Miller, we were down below Portecitos and I got a flat, and I had some rinky-dinks fanny pack tools when I was 21 years old, and I was trying to hurry because Chuck was going. I got to catch up to him, so I put everything back in my fanny pack, and I don't even think I knew it was gone. And then went about 6 miles down the road and I got another flat. And then I'm like, well, where's my other tire iron? I just pull it off with one, and I'm like, oh, there it is.
But that was a small one though, right? Like the fanny pack one.
Yeah.
But the one in
that looks like one of those Motion Pro tire spoons. It looks like it's got the good dish and stuff to it.
Yeah.
So I mean,
but if it's like this long, how is it going in the tire?
No, it's not that long. It's like 8 inches. 8 inches, yeah. So I know the maneuver. It's funny because I know the maneuver when you're changing the tire where you could actually be doing this thing and it can actually flip into the tire. There is it's like you're trying not to pinch the tube the way you're doing it, and you just do it, and it kind of falls in, and you're working on the other 2 tire irons, and it kind of goes away, and then you just keep working your way over, and it's like it should. Usually that tire iron ends up on the ground. Well, his ended up in the tire, and that's where it ended up being. But
it's pretty impressive coming through the tire.
Dude.
Well, Andrew called me. He goes, "Hey, you got to see this," and he just sent me this video. But the guy came in because he got a rear flat tire, but he was talking about how his front tire, his bike was not handling right on the front end. And like, I don't see how that just didn't hook really good every, like,
pull your front.
I'm trying to think of how many inches it is, every 300 inches or whatever it is when that thing rolls around. So,
yeah, that could be dangerous though.
We got to buy another microphone is what we got to do to fix this audio problem.
And more headphones.
Oh, more headphones.
So
too.
That way Johnny can hear when someone calls in. Or
hey, we'll get this. We got you know how it is. You get this.
Trevor didn't say very much.
You get this Rinky Dink show working better. We'll get some more sponsors and we'll get some more headphones. So, thanks again everybody for submitting these things. Video submissions are always welcome. Your questions, if you're standing next to your bike and it's doing something funny, shoot a video of us. Let us know. We'll put it up on the thing. How did Jimmy make it back home with his front rim split in half? Dude, I wheelied the whole way. I was on a Husaberg 570.
Oh, shit.
Ricky rode right next to me. He knows.
Because my light was actually facing the ground.
No, the funny thing is we were riding down the road, and Ricky's like, he's doing the symbol. He's like, he's pointing up like he's shooting a gun up in the air. And he's trying to tell me that my headlight's pointing up in the air. And I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm doing a wheelie. Like, what do you expect?
Dude.
Oh, that wasn't what you were saying?
I don't know.
Tell me. You were trying to tell me my headlight was pointing up in the air.
You have so much shit not tied correctly behind your number plate that your number plate don't even stay on the bike. That's why it's pointing up in the sky.
No, it's the 2 rocks that I have that are behind the rubber straps that usually sit in there that aim the headlight down have fallen out.
What the fuck?
Jimmy Rig.
I'm not lying. I'm not lying about that at all. So,
dude, I just got you foam grips. They're gonna be here tomorrow. I need to get you some zip ties.
Good. Where do you get good zip ties, Johnny?
Thomas Betts is the brand.
Thomas Betts are good zip ties because.
Or the Dakar ones.
We've all had janky zip ties before that
actually,
don't work.
If you look them up, Thomas Betts has some called, and their model is Dakar.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dakar zip ties.
Yeah.
See, if you haven't learned anything else, or you're asleep right now, wake up, and Thomas Betts Dakar zip ties are the answer to your question. So there's something valuable going on here. I just learned something, and I've been meaning to ask you this question for a long time because I have these zip ties that have probably been in my toolbox for years, and I zip tie all my wires again, I pull them, and they don't really, they break 10 minutes after that, and then the wires are flopping around, and then my headlights point at the sky, and who knows what happens.
And then you got to shore it.
It's a relay that went bad.
Yeah, they make
bike's 14 years old.
They make tons of different sizes of those, and they all have the metal locking tab and stuff.
Right, the good stuff.
UV rated or heat rated.
And when you're wondering why
rated,
there's a bike that's a factory bike and there's a Jimmy bike, that's the difference. I have a regular zip tie. You guys have a good zip tie, and it's not going to fail. So. Okay,
well, we're gonna get you some zip ties so you can clean up behind your number plate.
Should we get a factory mechanic up here?
Yeah, we should get him up here.
Okay, thank you guys. Thank you, Johnny Campbell. Thank you, Ricky Bagback, for showing up. I know it's torture for you to do this.
No.
Tech Talk Taco Tuesday.
Eric, you're in.
Always getting the good hosts, and we're gonna go straight to Eric questions. You got those things lined up? I will read them. You just highlight them.
Eric, you need some. Tequila?
Oh.
No, I need a booster chair because I'm so short.
Hey, should we bust out the black bottle tonight?
Yes.
We'll do that at the end of the show. Get the black bottle down. Let's get it on staging.
Staging.
We'll get it in staging, and we'll have everybody kind of. So at the end of the, we're gonna go through probably about $800 worth of tequila at the end of the show.
Nice.
I hope we don't go through all of it. Just don't let Johnny pour it.
Wow, that's a special moment for a black bottle, right?
So Mark Daniels, do you know Mark Daniels?
Yes, I do.
Mark Daniels said, Eric, we should be at a bar in Baja. Just saying, bro.
Yeah, well, I haven't been down to Baja in I don't know how long lately.
Do you miss it?
Of course, yeah. Beach Bash.
Sonora Rally was the last
Sonora
time.
Rally.
Yeah.
That was mainland though.
Yeah, it was.
Not really Baja, but
no, it's
yeah,
Mexico.
I miss. There's so much that I miss of Baja, but there's certain parts of it that I absolutely hate. You know, just all the BS, the cops, things like that. So no, George, we're not going to pour it. We're going to pour it into shot glasses and very carefully. Yeah, you can do that over there, and don't tempt me. Robert Covington says, did you watch any of today's Baja 1000 contingency? Can you tell any Baja 1000 stories?
Me particularly?
Yes. Well, I know you didn't watch any Baja 1000 contingency because you were changing suspension rapidly.
Yeah.
On a factory Honda rally bike.
Yeah. You know, a lot of my stories really, I've always been just elbow deep doing stuff on our factory bikes, you know. So most of the time, you know, I'd be back at the condo or the hotel, prepping the bike, checking it over. Like, I mean, before our bikes even hit the racetrack, I've looked at them 7 times. You know,
when all the story stuff is going on, you're busy making sure you're not part of a story.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, you know, when it comes down to basically being a factory mechanic, they're putting their lives in your hands. Right. So if I don't make sure that bolt's tight 7 times, you know, I haven't done my job correctly, because I feel like if it isn't absolutely the best that I could possibly do for them, and they're going to put their life on the line, then I failed them.
Because you're feeling the same pressure. You know, everybody's like, we're all focused on the racer and stuff. And you hear, like, let's just say Formula One guys, because I really like Formula One. You hear the Formula One guys thank their team, and I can kind of hear it in their voice. They're sincere.
Yeah.
They know if one of those guys screws up, and that's not just like with motorcycle guys. Generally, it's kind of one guy a lot of times, or, you know, there's a team, but it's like one guy. You're the guy that has a hand on the bike. That's how important this is.
Yeah.
And what I've, you know, the one thing when I first started seeing you do stuff with Johnny, it was one of the bikes you guys prepped for a Dirt Rider 24-hour thing, and you did this thing on the side cover that it was the Honda logo that was embossed in the side cover, and it was red, white, and blue, I think. Yeah. And you colored it in, and when I saw this bike, because we put a price. When you could modify the bike to a price.
Yes.
But we didn't really say anything about like man hours and stuff that we're putting in this bike. And I know this bike was gone over with a fine-tuned comb. That bike is actually in a shipping container out over here right now. I bought this bike because I knew how well it was prepped, and it was a good bike. I bought it for my father-in-law to race. But it was this, so inside that thing where you see this embossed, it was red, white, and blue, you know, where the Honda letters were in there. And I'm going, how the hell did he get that paint inside there, everywhere inside there, but not on the outside? And what came to my mind was just like, this is attention to detail that you just don't see.
Yeah.
And this is what, like, you know, when you look at like really good, like we say, factory mechanics, it's just, like you said, check the bolt 7 times.
Yeah.
So so go ahead.
I was gonna say, a lot of my old Baja fans that like to look at our old XR650s and even the 450Xs, you know, they would notice, if you ever looked at our race bikes, an XR650 in particular, one side was red, white, and blue, the other side was the Mexican flag. So I always incorporated that in my builds so that, you know, we're in the country,
right?
You know, and a lot of our fans are Mexican fans, and you know, it's
for sure.
It's, you know, it's just and they loved it. A lot of people just would look at it and go, "Wow," you know, like, that's cool that you put that in there. And it was one of those detail points.
It's like super. It's like you're overthinking it, just like a racer is trying to figure out how to go faster. You're trying to think about how to make the build better. So let's just roll this back into, like, you're just regular guys out there. Is there like one thing that you could, as a factory guy, that you maybe, when you see other bikes, because you've now worked at GNCCs, Baja, you know, California Desert Racing, all this different, you've done a lot of different things. Oh, there's this thing called Dakar too. Yeah. But is there one thing that, like, when you see regular dudes, like, come up and you know, they say, hey, there's a problem with the bike or whatever, and you know they're talking about this one problem, but then you look at their bike. Is there something that's like kind of sticks out that you see? You know, kind of. I mean, other than just complete lack of attention to detail.
Man, there's so many.
Is there a top 10? Can you just start rattling stuff off?
I wish I could pinpoint. I mean, most of the time, okay, the spokes haven't even been tightened.
Good.
You know.
Hey, Jimmy. Tyler, yeah. You're good at tightening spokes. Okay, just checking. He just said that, and I just you just reminded me, right? Okay. Yeah. Shitty wheels, got it.
Jeez. Routing of cables. You know, sometimes guys spin their throttles around. Hey, you know, the thing's a circle. It's gonna work either way you put the housing.
Right.
You know, and they put them around or mix match the throttle cable and the clutch cables, and then it's not routed.
They crisscross over the front.
Yeah, you know, and a lot of times, you know, Johnny and I would always talk and okay, as much bike prep as I have done, I've always asked Johnny, hey, what do you think about this wiring like this? And he's and the go-to is it happy? Is it sitting there happy? Is it gonna stay happy? You know, because if it's not sitting there squished between the frame.
Are you picking on me right now?
Why?
I don't know, just keep going. Sorry. Hey.
But you got
there's 35 bikes out there that aren't happy. John just said. You got a couple free days here. We can go talk about happy wires in my bike.
Well, you know, I mean, the things. A lot of times it's a Baja 1000, Baja 500.
Right.
It's going to go for X amount of hours, and it's going to go through hell. So if it's not happy, most likely it's going to wear. It's going to create an issue. And if, you know, and that's where it came to a lot of the attention to detail is making sure everything moved where it needed to be, and then nothing was on a rub or a hot spot or anything like that, you know.
So do you think that, like, maybe I don't know about this, like, do you think guys just need to sit out there with their motorcycle and just like talk to it, or just like really pay attention? Is there some sort of zenning with your motorcycle that you?
You know, every motorcycle that I've ever built always has my blood in it.
Or on it or in it?
All above. Like, because, you know, I did all the motor building as well. And you're cleaning gasket surface. You cut your finger. I'm like, I'll just rub a little bit on the inside of the engine cases.
There we go.
You know, I mean, it's a little of the black magic there, you know. I just, you put so much time, so many hours. You're intimate with this motorcycle because you know what it's going to do. You know what the abuse it's going to go through, but you've also spent, you know, 40 plus hours building from the frame up, or from a bike to a frame back to a bike.
Right.
You know, so that right there builds your relationship to, you know, this thing's got to be 100% the best of my ability. You know,
just like the guy riding it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know?
And I kind of think that people often overlook that in their own builds. You know,
right,
they just kind of throw stuff at it, and sometimes I've even heard, you know, factory mechanics talk to themselves as just like kind of quote parts changers.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, they're like, oh, doesn't the factory mechanic know all these, you know, do all the special stuff? And it's just like, I think it's all habit.
Yeah, I mean, there are levels of factory mechanics. There are a lot of guys that do just change parts. You know, I was fortunate that I had to learn how to build motors. I had to learn how to lace wheels. I had to learn every aspect. I had to build wire harnesses. I had to build, you know. And
because your bikes like had special wiring and things.
You know, especially like 450X. That bike was meant to be a trail bike, but we created a race bike out of it by taking things off of a TRX and things off of, you know, the 08, or at that time was 05 CRF 450, you know. So the mix matching of that, so it was like the creative juices were flowing with those kinds of bikes, is just to make it a race capable machine instead of a weekend warrior trail bike, which it was.
Oh, we got a question from the peanut gallery here.
Yes, you do. Eric,
yes.
How do you feel about foot peg pins with the cotter pin on the top?
Well, that's a good one.
I see them all over here.
Yeah.
I don't.
Around my neck of the woods. Right.
Which way does gravity pull?
I'm sorry, what?
Which way does gravity pull anything?
That's how
I think it's the stupidest thing to keep the thing's gonna drop out.
Right.
If you leave it the other way, at least your foot's gonna step on it, and if the pin peels back, your foot's there.
So
it's
so
only
there,
gonna move so
I'm
much.
getting picked on here, but I'll give you my rebuttal, and you can answer this. So the reason I have them in there like that is because I tend to ride through a lot of rocks, and I'm dragging my foot pegs across them, and I've peeled pins, the cotter keys. I've knocked the cotter keys, smashed them, and it's usually over time, but they get smashed up, and then the pin comes out and the foot peg falls off. Had this happen when they're upside, they don't get knocked as much, but then if I can clearly see that cotter key is in good shape, and then it's okay, and then it doesn't get knocked around. But I totally agree with you on the gravity thing. But then it's like, if you're okay, so let's here's a good question. If you were prepping a bike for extreme enduro where you knew it had the potential to go through a lot of rocks and like that key could get knocked off, which way would you set it then?
I'd still do it the same way, 100%. But
yeah,
also the quality of the cotter pin
makes a difference.
Yes, because a lot of people use soft ones, and they're gonna peel like it's going out of style. And I see the upside down cotter pin thing is a Husky and a KTM thing.
Yes.
And
that's what they're on my bikes.
And I don't know if it's the angle in which the mounts are on the frame that is more advantageous for them to peel when they're hitting rocks versus, say, a way a Honda is.
Right. I've never had it happen on a Honda.
Right.
By
the Endurocross.
Right. Oh, yeah,
Colton
built
Haker.
Endurocross bikes. Yeah.
Colton Haker Endurocross bikes. Never have we ever peeled a cotter key.
Yeah.
But
and I've never done it in a single. It's never been done in a single event. Any time that I've noticed that happen, because a lot of times there's, you see some remnants of the key, or you pull it out before it's going to happen. You go, whoa, look at this thing, and it's taken a lot of abuse. It wasn't like a one event sort of thing, and so it probably should have been replaced. And in down, I understand that it's probably not going to fall out, but they do. They will if you let the pin get bad enough. So we got another good question. Good question there, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to ask how to spoke a rim, front wheel. How long does it take you to change a radiator on a Honda Sierra 450X GNCC race bike? This is Chris Reel. It might be a trick question.
Well, we never raced the X, but it's anywhere between 2 and 5 minutes.
To change a radiator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll go back to Endurocross. The entry of Colton Haker into the Endurocross event, last one in Ontario, he decides to slide off one of the logs and bends the radiator and breaks it like that. So the spotlight's on him. I'm like,
oh, that's the sight lap or whatever.
Right. He's the intro. The intro to
the beginning of the show, and then he's got to be in heat one.
He lays the thing down on the radiator. I have to go run over there, race up to the truck. I think it was Dan McGanahan and Johnny, we changed that thing in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And in Baja, I think maximum 5 minutes.
That's what's good about XR 600s. They didn't have those things, those radiator things.
Those cooling items.
But they did detonate every once in a while.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, do we got a good question there, Matt? Oh, wait, George.
You ever had any things you'd share where you were maybe tuning for a racer that was just a pain in the ass?
Can't talk about Johnny right now.
Talk about that. It's important to have a relationship.
So George just asked, have you tuned for a pain in the ass racer?
You know what? I've tuned for a lot of people, and they all have quirks, and I don't consider that a pain in the ass. I consider that their personal things that they require.
Right.
So I don't take any of that personal. I take it as a challenge to provide the best, service to them.
Right.
Timmy Wiegand, I'd have to carry around 4 handlebars because the guy would wad them up every practice at a works race. If I didn't have 4 handlebars, he'd be racing with bent bars, which he always did anyway, because the guy couldn't stay off the ground as fast as he was.
Yeah.
Kendall, massaging the frame of a dirt bike just to make it feel like it's more compliant. There's the list goes on and on, but it's not that they're pains in the butt. They're particular on what they want and what you need to provide for them. So
it's just part of your job. It's
you
like
just
this,
gotta be versatile.
That's what you need to do.
I don't take any of it personal, and then and it might put that into my plethora of
experience.
Experience
so when
and
another
thought
rider
processes, right.
asks for something or has what about this? Then you might have a database of what,
exactly.
to go do that. So Erica, thank you. Oh wait, here we go. This might be out of your wheelhouse, but why did Honda combine the engine and transmission oil for the Gen 2 450X? I got an answer. I'm gonna guess.
Well, go for it.
Simplicity.
Yeah.
Simplicity. There's people shaking their head up and down, which means yes. And I mean, it's a good idea. It's a good idea to keep contamination separate and stuff like that. But for the average person, like it's
most people didn't know how to change the 2 sides.
I know a lot of people that change their oil a lot and only one part of it. And whether it was the transmission or was the motor oil, they didn't know. They just took the one drain plug bolt out because the other one might have been a case mount bolt on the old bike.
Yeah.
So I think simplicity and they've been using a single oil in transmissions and motors on the motorcycles for a long time, and it hasn't really been a problem. And maybe when they were thinking about it, and when that was done, that was in early days of 4-stroke high performance 4-strokes. And they're like, hey, maybe we're going to get to a point where we're going to have so much power where you might need separate oils and special oils and things like this. So,
but if you look at the XR650, that has single oil.
Okay, Robert Covington says, how fast can you do a valve adjust on a Unicam motor?
I've never timed my. That's not one of the things I time myself on. But
but you don't in your world you don't try to do it fast.
No,
you do it,
I do it
perfect. Right. I know this.
Yeah,
I do it fast, so I can probably do it like in twice as long as you do it.
Yeah. Well,
but that's fast for me because I don't know exactly. I can do it on 10 different motorcycles. What I consider fast.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to do it specifically on one. And when you start learning the quirks, the little ticks, like do I have to unbolt this? Do I have to? What do I have to move out of the way? Which direction do I stick the feeler gauge in?
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah,
it's
huge.
Huge.
The shims, knowing the different shims you have available. There's so much stuff to know, and so when you pay to have a really good mechanic like yourself do it, and you go to someplace that knows how to do it, then it's done right. And if you have Jimmy do it in his shop, it's just janky and.
As long as it's not clacking around, you're probably pretty good.
I only cross-threaded one bolt in your cylinder head, right, George? Only one that we know of? That's my truck.
Jeez. Yeah.
So, okay, Sean Elliott wants to know, do I set the valves tight or loose of tolerance? Oh, I know the answer to this.
I set them up tight.
Set them up tight?
Yeah.
You go on the tight side?
Well, okay.
I was going to say set them to tolerance.
Yeah. Well, I like to...
A shim wears in just a little bit, right?
Right. But the thing is, too, is if you think about it, a shim in a bucket, cam's going to come, and the looser you got, the later it gets onto that lobe and the more it slaps, right?
Yes.
So by setting up just a smidge on the tight side, it's gonna transition a little smoother. It does change a little bit of your cam timing just because it's hitting it sooner.
Right.
But a lot of stuff what we did is I would just set them up maybe a thousandths too tighter. Or on the low or on the tight side of the spec.
If you have the option, you would go on the tight side as opposed to the loose side. And it depends on the shims you can get. And I know guys that have spent a lot of time running a shim around, massaging the shim just to get that little extra bit. And I know you guys do this when you're building race motors, and that's the level. I watched Dave Chase taught me how to reassemble a CRF 250R motor.
Yeah,
and it was painstaking to watch the steps, and it was replace almost every bolt every nut in the thing, because it's like, well, this is the right way to do it. Then it's back to new. And it's the kind of expense and cost that. But the story was, how would a factory mechanic rebuild a motor? And at that point, the parts budget is not that much of a concern in these things. So there's the right way and the wrong way. So there you go. Absolutely. Go a little bit on the tight side. So any other questions? Are the shims from Home Depot good enough?
No.
El Home Depot, El Depot, Victor? Is that where
Are
at?
you just getting bar stock and trimming them down?
Victor's the one that was filing his lever that he snapped off because he didn't want it to look, too ghetto.
No, I'm a big prepare. I don't know what I was gonna say, but I really like the Honda shims, Honda brand shims.
Yeah, stock.
You can't. The hot cam shims function.
That's what because I have a lot of different bikes, and that's what I throw in there, and I've had really good luck with them.
Yep.
Like I said, if I have the option, I run a little bit on the type side, but usually you only have one option based on their sizes.
Right.
Based on the numbers, and they've designed this perfectly, so there will be one that'll fit in there, and it might be on the loose end, it might be on the tight end.
Yeah.
And with the OEM ones, you can usually get every little thousandth increment and do it exactly right. So San Felipe Bob wants to know, what brand of wrenches do you spin?
For my T-handles, I am spinning Motion Pro.
Yeah.
For my everyday tools, a lot of it's Snap-on.
Yeah.
If you were to purchase anything, I would say buy Snap-on screwdrivers, buy a Snap-on ratchet. Sockets doesn't matter. And then T-handles, Motion Pro, they've gotten a little soft lately. I would have to say their quality has dropped. I've rounded.
What were the Koa ones? Were the super high end back in the day? We could get those.
I have actually my very first set when I started being a mechanic in '99. I have my first set of T handles that were Motion Pro.
Okay.
And they still function better than a brand new set.
Yep. And it's funny because I think things like that kind of go through phases and heat treating things
problem.
And so.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, a good set of screwdrivers, a good set of Allen wrenches, sockets like the Snap-on sockets and things like that, they're the best, really.
Impact wrenches.
I currently own Snap-on nowadays.
But I mean, do you use them?
I only run in things or run out.
Yeah, remove. See, this is funny because I've talked to a lot of factory mechanics, and they'll never put anything in with an impact wrench.
I will put it in, but I will just start it but it's all in the finger control. Like you're not just going, let's do it.
I always set bolts and start screwing them in. Get them fine. I don't want to find it with the impact because it'll
you're cross thread that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, buzzing them out and in, it's just quick and easy.
That's how I did George's cylinder head. Just send it. Yeah. I started about 3 feet away from the bike and just started running at it, and I almost hit it square. Almost.
Well, if you're changing stuff,
that bike's for sale, right, George? Everything's for sale.
Yeah.
Okay, we got any other good ones?
Yeah. Robert Covington.
Any MacGyver repair stories you can recall?
Gosh, yeah. The Crusher Quinn Cody coming in with a broken side cover. I mean, gosh, we had to pretty much strip the ignition cover off down in Borrego.
Yeah.
And then, but we've also had where Kendall took my $500 Snap-on 1/2-inch impact and started beating on a pipe with it. Because he blew a hole, it was coming off the dry lake bed. So they're going, we looked at our GPS. We didn't go under 3 digits for 8 miles, and he comes in with a hole like this big in the exhaust pipe, and he's sitting there smashing with my wrench. And I step back, I look, I go, dude, that's $500. That's my $500 tool. Can I do this now?
He's knocking an $800 pipe off. It's relative.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. But, there's just, it's whatever. It's
okay, so Trevor Hunter, you might have heard of Trevor. What is the best way to do a rear wheel tire change at Vegas to Reno? Our pit crew seems to struggle with this. I wish I had the photo. They
Hold on, give me a second. I'll see if I can.
yeah, we don't need
download
to
it.
dig it up.
I've seen Supercross mechanics, and it is.
I laugh.
painful.
I laugh when I watch motocross and supercross
gosh.
guys try to change it because I mean, you guys in the off-road world. I mean, but you practice this. You guys practice these, and when you do your Baja pits, back in the day when you do the pit changing, now at Vegas to Reno, you guys practice changing the wheel, so it's a system. There's a few people on the process. They do it a certain task. They know exactly what they're due. That's it. But you know, when it's your dad and his other buddy who he hates Trevor. When your dad's buddy hates to have to put his beer down out of his hand to use that hand to actually work the wrench. That's where the problem starts, and then it just only gets work from there. Yeah, well, I mean, he's helped me with my diesel stuff too, but that can easily be done over the phone. One phone here, beer here, I think. But hey, don't
a lot
judge.
Of it's preparation too.
How do you think we do this show, by the way?
Wheel spacers. You know, we've got a lot of little things that we do. Chamfering brake pads. We do all sorts of little things.
Just putting the little at the edge of the brake pad. Put the little chamfer in so that the disc can find it and go in.
It's not only that. It's having what tools do you need right at your. Okay, if you can't get the brake disc in the brake pads, have a screwdriver sitting next to you.
Yep.
You know, I mean, if you're not prepared.
Preparation prevents piss poor performance. Thank you, Chase.
So,
yeah, that's something like that.
Yeah, I mean, and like, I probably made the most money I've ever made in my life in 29 seconds. When,
how's this?
We did Vegas to Reno, or no, it was one of the Las Vegas races. We had a wheel change contest, and TJ and I did a wheel change on our XR650 in 29 seconds, front and rear wheel. And so Johnny said he'll match the winning. And so in 29 seconds, I made $500.
That's pretty good money.
Yeah, I could do that all day long if that's the case. But you know, it's one of those things where, you know, I pride myself. I always got the front wheel because it was the most difficult. But I prided myself on smoking the back guy because, you know, I've got to deal with multiple wrenches, pinch bolts, and an axle nut and an axle and all these other things. And if I can beat the back guy that's only got to deal with a nut and an axle, then I'm smoking it. It's great.
Good. People are pointing at things. What do you just hiding behind the?
He wants some of the black.
Oh, he's ready. we gotta pour it here in a second. So. Okay, I think we got to have a new segment. Ask a factory mechanic. Can we call you up at your shop? You know, it'll be 2:00 in the morning by the time we get there, but you know, you could schedule it and just be your late night.
No, I enjoy it. I mean, I have a head full of knowledge that I love giving to other people.
Right.
And obviously I'm Honda specific, but it kind of rolls into everything else too.
Yeah.
You know, it's just.
It's just general. A lot of it just goes back to the core principles, like you said, perfection. Like you said, how do you do it? Perfect.
Yeah.
And so a lot of guys don't really want to take the time to do it perfect, but it's like, okay, how can I do better than half-ass and maybe do it right as opposed to not perfect? This is my world.
It's like changing your tire, but you don't clean the axle and put new grease on it. You just slide it in with the dirt on it.
Well, if it's clean from last time, you're 70% good the next time.
Never mind the fact that you went through some water and some other dust and some grime, and then you just slid that thing right back in.
Yep.
And you hear the grind, and then you don't even clean off the threads, and you hear the grind in the nut. You know, it's just locking it on better.
Stop describing my life.
You know, I mean, that's the difference, though. I mean, you know, everything has to go back together perfect.
Somebody, I don't know if it was Jim or somebody we were talking about you. They said Jimmy's the guy you want if you're broke on the trail, but not the guy you necessarily want to put your bike in the factory.
Yeah, okay, so I'm the guy you want when you're broke on the trail. I can MacGyver it.
Yeah.
And me and Dave and my buddy Dave Rigatoni, we can MacGyver it. But like the problem is I carry too much of that into the garage. It follows me around. It's just get it done kind of a thing.
It'll be good enough.
It'll be good enough. Yeah. And it's just from experience, I know it will mostly be good enough. But I do not prep like race bikes like this. And as much as everybody would like to think that I do, I have a secret side that goes over and I work a little bit more like you.
Quiet in the corner by yourself.
I have moments. I zen with my motorcycle.
I don't think Johnny would have approved of any of the Jimmy Lewis style of mechanicking for his race bikes.
He didn't approve with almost anything I did. Like, because Johnny comes from the Bruce O school of things.
Yeah.
And like, I was a little bit outside of that. Like, the Jimbo program and the Bruce O program were two completely different O programs. But like, the end result was this kind of sort of the same. It's just big difference of methodology come in there. And I think what it comes down to is just like, you know, the dedication that you're putting into it.
Right.
But it's I would tell if somebody were coming up, Matt, by the way, you know, you're trying to learn stuff from me.
Yes.
Like try to figure out what I'm doing, but do it like more sano. Like just how would you put it more? What would be the right way, Johnny? Like more responsible.
I think Eric summed it up in the beginning when he said, "These guys trust me with their life, so I'm going to do it perfect," and you don't care.
it's your own life. Period.
Yeah. If I never really trusted. No, I did some of my mechanics. I did when I was racing at a super high level. I trusted my mechanics with like the level you're saying, but a lot of time, well, most of the time I was my own mechanic, so I kind of had to do. I knew who the mechanic was, so I knew he was half-assed, so I rode that way. But it's. Yeah, I think it's good. But you could definitely do things, and even when you're asking questions in the show and stuff, it's like I'm giving you the kind of like I'll call it the pedestrian, the regular guy way to do it. But there is a factory guy way to do it, and I know what this is because I've been around it, and I appreciate you for explaining that and telling us what it is.
Well, I was blessed to work with the best. I worked with Bruce and I worked with Johnny. That was the beginning of my career. And I honestly, coming in '99, that's when the XR 650 came out or prototype, and then whatever.
Did you wrench? Did he wrench for us when I hucked that one? He wasn't around that. It was right after that, right?
Yeah, it was late 2000 that I started working with Precision Concepts and started building the bikes, and then 2001 I started building both A and B team bike.
Right.
But I, like the methodology, the attention to detail. A guy named Jim Green, detail was everything to him, and that's where I learned it. And and from that point on, it was just I was sent down the right path.
Yeah, that helps.
To know that, attention to detail is key to being a factory guy. And, I never thought, and I never pursued wanting to be a factory mechanic. It just...
You didn't think you'd end up going to Dakar wrenching on Ricky's bike?
No, not really. I mean, obviously as the career progressed, yeah. I mean, I had the opportunity to work with KTM and Chris Blaze when he went to KTM.
Yep.
I didn't get to pursue that, but I had that opportunity.
Yeah, because you were wrenching for Chris back when Chris was racing or was Chris building his own bikes?
Chris was building his own stuff, but I had the opportunity because he needed a mechanic, and so I could have went with him to do that. But at the time I was working for Precision Concepts, and also building all the
Johnny's
Honda
bikes.
So it was like I couldn't really leave any of that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, cool. Well, thank you a bunch for coming on this show.
Yeah.
Do we have another?
We have a couple more questions.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
So Jeff Shepard.
Ricky just said, "Holy crap! Yeah, are you working on a road book yet? You haven't started building road books over there? This is so boring."
Hey, it's only 12:30 at my house right now.
Okay, quickly. First gen 450X with R cam. What spec are you setting the decompression mechanism? It's there, right?
It used to be 25 thousandths, and that you had to put an 11 thousandths shim between the tappet arm, and then then you had to add the other feeler gauge in between where it would hit, and I always put it tighter, so it would.
Because it had an adjustment on it, right?
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I always made them tighter. I probably did it instead.
Everybody
of being
needs to know this. Everybody needs to know. So 25 thousandths.
It was, but I always did it tighter. I always did it like it was whatever I felt like, but it was like usually like 15 thousandths.
I didn't like the R cam and the X motor. I liked it.
Well, which R cam? There was so many.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
There was 08, there was 07, there was 06, 5, 4. The 02 was our go-to.
I liked them stock.
Yeah, but
stock they ran good. You could rev them out.
They run awesome if you're trail riding, but in Baja, you're doing 100 miles an hour. It didn't like that with the stock cam.
It wouldn't go 100 miles an hour, but nobody needs to go 100 miles an hour unless you're on a Husaberg 570.
Yeah.
What happens if the front wheel
What
breaks?
is up with this Husaberg, man? Is that your new thing?
Hey, oh, no.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Okay, we don't need to go over that story.
Hey, that's the end of the show for that. So next time you come out, I'll let you ride it. I was actually going to have Johnny hop on it today, but I know
I don't even know how to ride a dirt bike anymore.
Now you rode the 125, and you identified a problem that I
you
said
almost
didn't
killed
exist.
me with it.
Yeah, bog.
I almost died. Literally.
Did I tell you what there was? There was a big chunk floating around inside the float bowl. It kept going up into the main jet.
You swore I was lying to you.
Well, I didn't believe you, but I believed Andrew.
Yeah, he rode it, and he almost died too.
Yeah, I know. But what would a guy who hasn't ridden a 125 for 15 years know? They all bog. I'm going to go find this out tomorrow.
Not when you're under acceleration.
It's okay. Well, with that, we're going to shut this damn show down. Hey, thank you a lot. And Mark Daniels says thanks for mentioning Jimmy Green.
Yeah.
So, okay. We will see you probably next Tuesday. We'll talk about a YZ125 a little bit. And that's all that I can remember at this point.
All right.
So thank you, Eric. Thank you, Johnny Campbell, for coming on. Thank you, Ricky Barbeck. Barbeck. It's Barbeck. That's the way the YouTube pronounces it. Thanks, Logan and George. We're going to let the cameras run, and we're going to kill the mics, and you're going to watch us pour really expensive tequila for anybody that'd like to have some. Because that's what we do here in this show, right?
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, and we will see you all next week. So we're gonna kill the mics.
I'll kill them right now on my end. So yeah,
we'll see you on that end. Hey, Victor, you're missing out, buddy. If you bring one of these black bottles, you can get invited back to the show. And don't spray paint the Jose Cuervo. I know how you roll.
All right.
So cheers. We'll see you out.